Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tree of Geek. There's a special day coming up. Special day for your special partner. And if you're running around like a madman trying to figure out what to do for that special person in your life, and you're looking for that special love story that you just want to imbue that passion, might I suggest you sit that special person down on the couch or on the recliner or on the Craftmatic bed that you now own because you're a little bit older. Got to take care of that vertebrae. Set that person down and hit that play button on that old laser disc and put on that special movie, Alien versus Predator. And if you want to get really deep, put on Aliens versus Predator, Requiem. And I guarantee you're probably not going to get any. But, it was worth a shot. So with all that being said, here we are on our third and final piece of our sci-fi series. Today we are talking about Alien versus Predator, Aliens versus Predator Requiem, the future of the two franchises. We're going to get into it. But it's not just me rambling on here. I got a co-host over here, a lovely man in my life that I'm not spending Valentine's Day with.
That's right. We are diving into the Alien versus Predator. I would say franchise, but it's more of a
side quest
duo. It's not even a sequel. I mean, a trilogy. Yeah, we're gonna dive down this rabbit hole. So, like Michael said, if you got that special someone nearby, make sure you give them a big, hearty hug.
Hug that face.
Face hug if you need to.
Yeah,
like eggs.
There's some scenes in this movie that already went a little bit far.
Put some eggs in there.
Yeah. A lot of eggs in your basket, but that's not the holiday.
That's all
not the holiday.
No. That's all.
I'm sorry. Listen, see, my special partner here brought me a gift for this Valentine's Day, even though we're back in time. A little bit of a little cool whiskey he brought me, and it's flowing. So we're gonna have a great time. Great time.
Writer's tears.
Look him in the eyes the entire podcast. It's gonna be great.
But that's just because you can't blink because it's so good. As he put, and I repeat, people, he put Sprite in a delicious
Dr. Pepper, I would
delicious whiskey.
Pepper.
Oh,
not a real man. I'm a fraud. Not a real man.
So another awesome, cool detail about tonight's podcast. We are running on a brand new mixer through a new system, new mic. We have a button for that.
We do.
But I'm not going to hit it because I don't remember which one it is. So bear with us while we get everything tweaked out. If the podcast turns out to be a little bit too loud, too quiet, let us know in the comments below if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube and you're listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, any of the above, visit treeofgeek.com and hit the contact us link and shoot us a message. Let us know what you're thinking, people. So at the time of recording this, I will say our first podcast of this year. What do we even call it?
Day of Future Geeks.
Thank you. Day of Future Geeks. Our look at 2024. I don't know what happened, but we hit over 200 views on YouTube, which to most people out there is chump change. To us, that was phenomenal. I don't know what happened, but if you're listening to this, we want to give a huge thank you. You don't understand how much we appreciate your support.
My heart was like the Grinch, and it grew 2 sizes.
I thought you were about to say my heart goes on.
You want me to sing Celine Dion right now?
No. This episode is going to be spoiler-filled for the entire Alien franchise, the entire Predator franchise, and if you even
maybe
watch
even a smidge of the comics or something here and there.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And, of course, AVP 1 and 2.
Is there anything special going on in the geek world for you before we dive into this? Anything, have you watched any new TV shows that maybe you heard about on the Days of Future Geeks, or...
I'm ashamed to say it has been quite a while, but I've still only seen the first episode of Echo. But it was actually a lot better than I expected it to be.
I have a half of the last episode to go.
What do you think overall? Is it better than you thought?
It is long, even though there's not that many episodes.
Like drawn out long? Like boring?
There's a lot of reading, and I understand why. There's a lot of sign language and things.
I don't want to hear it.
I have trouble focusing.
I don't want to hear it.
There's a lot of conversation.
Right now, my wife is on season 4 out of 5 of the show Switched at Birth, which is...
Oh, I know, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a deaf girl who got switched at birth. But long story short, there's just nonstop sign language. Yeah. So now when I'm talking to somebody and they start using their hands, I'm just like, what are you saying to me? Are you telling me something special?
I understand that is the character.
I kind of want to learn it now.
But, yeah, sign language is,
Yeah, ASL. ALS. No, ASL. Yeah, ALS is Lou Gehrig's disease. ASL. It just looks like an amazing
Yeah, it's
thing.
very elegant.
Yeah.
I expected there to be a little bit more kick-ass fighting in it. You know?
Okay.
Vincent D'Onofrio was killing it as Kingpin, though. I'm just saying.
All right. So, what about you? What's going on in your world?
I was just gonna go with Echo.
Echo.
Echo, because that's the only thing that was on the calendar that I've gotten a chance to get to.
I
Waiting
did.
for a couple Doctor Who's to come out before I
Yes.
jump into that.
I did get caught up on the Predator versus Wolverine comics. Definitely worth a read. I'm thoroughly enjoying them. I did get a hold. I don't know if I told you this. I did get a hold of that one comic book variant cover of Predator standing in front of his trophy wall, and it's just all different.
You showed me in pictures.
It's all different Wolverine heads.
Yes.
I did end up getting it finally. It was a little hard to track down because everybody wanted like $100 for it because it was the special one. But how did your second D&D game go?
Oh, they all died.
Well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I thought it went pretty good. I took a lot of your advice, looked a lot of things online, kind of all came together. And when I didn't know anything, they rolled a lot. Let's just say that there's a lot of rolling going on. Rolling perception left and right. A lot of rolling. Yeah, it was
Let the dice tell the story.
The first part of their adventure, they were very stumped on. They just took forever to figure it out. But maybe
was that the rock part you told me about?
Yeah, the Gale of Door that I put in there.
Nice, yeah. Very nice.
They tried to just go around, and I had their guide be like, "Dude, it's gonna take like 5 weeks to go around. You have to go this way." No, it was fun. You know, they
sometimes you
got
to railroad them a little bit.
Yeah, they got to level 2.
All right,
good. All right, so
that's awesome.
We're gonna jump into
let's jump 20 years ago to 2004.
Crawl out of our cryo chambers, wake up a little bit.
As long as it doesn't catch fire like James Franco.
Ah.
So I will say that right out of the gate, I'm very sad there are no flamethrowers in these movies.
No, but there is a little tidbit of trivia for one of these movies that I found very surprising.
Ooh, I look forward to it.
All right, well, Josh, if we're going to dive into these movies, what do we normally do to figure out who goes first?
The good old D20. Let's do this.
Well, before you roll, I just got to say one thing. Congratulations, Lions. Hopefully you're going to the Super Bowl. Or hopefully you already won the Super Bowl. All right, go ahead and roll. What do you got?
Oh, I got a fight tonight. We got a 14.
14. Here we go. 17.
All right, Michael.
I'll let you do a little sipping while I do a little talking.
All right, start us out. Let's jump 20 years in the past and get into it.
20 years in the past. Our past? Like the human past?
From this exact moment.
Okay, we're going to go into the past. All right. So, yeah, we have a movie called Aliens versus Predator. And it came out, and what year was that? 2004? Is that what you said?
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Unless you're listening to this.
2024 now.
Unless you're listening to this in 2025, then it was 21 years ago.
Okay, well, anyway, AVP, Alien versus Predator, came out in 2004, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who is pretty famous for his relationship with Mila Jovovich in those Resident Evil movies. And music was by Harold Closer with a K. He also did The Day After Tomorrow and 10,000 BC. I thought it was a pretty decent soundtrack. We got a cast of, do you want me to read all through all these? Man, there's so many people in this movie. I'm going to just hit up the main ones.
I put down the main, looks like 6. I didn't do like all the mercenaries and...
I'll do the main ones here.
Okay.
We'll go for...
Real quick, is he related to just Wes Anderson?
I don't know. The guy does all those weird movies. I was thinking that the whole time we were doing this, but then I completely forgot to look Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
That movie's awesome. Sanaa Lathan. Lex Woods, she is the guide, does a little ice climbing. She's based on Mashiko Noguchi from the comic books.
The AVP comic
books. Raul Bova is Professor Sebastian DeRosa. He's an alchemist. He's
an archaeologist. Who finds a Pepsi cap.
Pepsi cap. Yeah, thinks he's going to be famous. He's not. But anyway, they bring him along. He figures out about the pyramids. Lance Hendrickson. I always say Hendrickson. There's no D in that.
Yeah, it's Henriksen.
Henriksen is coming back to the series. Charles Bishop Wayland is who he plays, an ancestor from some people later on in the series. Ewan Bremer is Dr. Graham Miller, a Scottish chemical engineer. Pretty funny in there. Colin Salmon, like the fish. Maxwell Stafford, he's the assistant to Mr. Wayland. Tommy Flanagan from those Sons of Anarchy TV shows plays Mark Verheiden, a member of the Armed Escorts. And that's the main cast right there. Those are the ones that are important. until you
Oh,
get to the actual predators.
I say you're missing the two most important.
We got Tom Woodruff Jr. Plays the alien called Grid. And then you have Ian White, who plays the predator Scar, and he also does the other predators, I do believe.
Yes, everything I read said that he did all three of the Predators, which I guess all three actually had names. I just remember Scar.
Yeah, we got Scar, Chopper, Celtic, and Elder.
But there was only three. That was four.
Well, Elder was the one at the very end.
Oh, gotcha.
Gives her the staff.
What spoiled her?
Oh, spoilers. We already talked about spoilers.
Oh yeah, never mind.
We did that. Go back in time again. All right. So, Josh, what happens in this movie? What's the quick plot? Like, what even happens?
Oh man, quick plot. Well, the Wayland Corporation picks up. I believe it was like a massive heat signature.
Bloom, they call it.
Bloom coming out of an island just off of Antarctica. I believe they said it was like 1,000 miles off of Antarctica, but it was still an Antarctic island.
It was cold.
It was very cold, yeah. And so the Wayland Corporation decides we're going to send a group down there because our fancy equipment looks like there's a structure under the ice.
They got to get there before anybody else gets there.
Our buddy Bishop Wayland, or Charles Bishop Wayland, wants to be the first to stake claims to it because, ego and all that fun jazz.
Corporate greed.
They get there and they find a massive hole already drilled all the way down.
Like, what? At a perfect 30-degree angle.
It is. Which, if I remember reading correctly, the heat bloom was essentially the Predator ship blasting like a laser to burn that hole. Something like that? No?
No, the heat bloom was there before.
Okay.
Yeah, some mechanism that, because like every so many years, this thing's supposed to start back up.
Right.
So they capture the heat bloom, and also the predators are told, through their technology, hey, something's going on over there. Then they fly the ship.
Oh, it's time.
They're like, hey, we need to get down there. So, yeah, it's time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and then they really prepare the predators for what's about to happen too, which is great.
Yeah. So they drop the predators off. They have very basic weaponry. Actually, they have their knives and their fancy disc blades. That's really it.
Yeah.
They've got
staff.
Because they don't actually get their shoulder cannon unless they get into the, I think it's like the
they
center.
have to pass level 1 to get their shoulder
Yeah,
cannon.
basically. Well, things go awry.
Everything goes awry. The humans take their cannons.
Yeah, the humans decide that, we found this cool stuff. Let's take it. It triggers a trap. And it's, in my opinion, one of the coolest aspects of the movie is the whole pyramid turns into a massive moving puzzle.
Have you seen the movie? It's
13 Ghosts is what it reminded me of. It's what it reminded me of. A constantly changing.
A newer one. It's the escape room.
No,
yeah,
I haven't.
It's kind of similar to that in some of those scenes as well. But yeah, definitely 13 Ghosts. I didn't think about that.
Like the constantly shifting house, and yeah.
Yeah.
Long story short, as you might imagine, not everybody's going to make it out of this movie.
Well, no, the alien queen gets woken up because she's warmed up. She was in cryostasis for centuries.
I did they do find, because the group splits for a minute. The one group finds this chamber with the weapons. The other group finds a chamber that has these
sacrificial chamber
bodies laying everywhere, like skeletons with the chest burst open. Gee, I wonder what happened here. And when they take the weapon and all the stuff triggers, facehuggers come out and the game starts.
And then the three predators got to book it to get in there before they get locked out.
Yep. And they find that their weapons are missing. Yeah. So
and they're like, who took our weapons? And then they found out who took their weapons. And they try to take some of them back.
Yeah.
But not before people get impregnated and some aliens, some xenomorphs start crawling around.
Through a series of unfortunate events, good book series.
Lemony Snicket.
People die, people become, well, not really become xenomorphs, but they give birth to xenomorphs. Lots of stuff happens. There's weird alliances made and really bad CGI.
Yeah.
But also some really cool stuff.
But for 2004, it looked, I saw this in theaters. In 2004, it looked all right.
Yeah.
It was a dark theater. I mean, I didn't expect much. It looked better than Jason X.
Anything looked better than Jason X.
Yeah, so, and then there's a final battle, and something happens with one of the predators that'll lead into the next movie.
Yes. So, jumping back just to the overall premise of the movie, what are some specific aspects of each franchise that you were really happy to see pushed into this movie? A good example is, I loved how towards the end, I think it was towards the end when the Predator finally takes his mask off, our main character Lex gives the classic "You're one ugly mother effer" line. I mean, they didn't get to the chopper, but it was a really good call out to the original. Well, actually, almost every Predator movie.
Yeah, I feel like they were definitely trying to link the popular phrases and quotes.
Well, they were trying to feed both worlds. Just like it would not be an alien movie. Like if there was an alien movie that didn't have facehuggers, I would be so disappointed.
Well, I feel like they played it pretty evenly here, 50-50. They weren't like this is an alien movie with a predator in it, or this is a predator movie with an alien in it.
Right.
This was
a human movie.
It was kind of like Freddy versus Jason. It was, they really went down the middle. They gave more or less better than the next movie, but I think they gave both of the franchises screen time.
But now you saw it in theaters, you said?
I did.
Were there people rooting for one side or the other?
No. I never go to those wild theaters where people act like nuts.
Like Endgame when Cat picks up the hammer and like the whole theater goes nuts. That didn't happen.
It didn't?
Not for me. The most exciting movie I think I've been to ever was D&D, Honor Among Thieves, and it was just that people were laughing hysterically the whole time. They actually got the jokes.
It was pretty wild during Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
Oh, I can imagine.
There was a lot of people dying in that one.
But Rabbit Trail. So,
Rabbit Trail.
what are some franchise-specific elements that you really enjoyed?
I don't know if there was anything really specific. I like the Predator franchise. I don't know if there was anything specific that they brought in, or I was like, oh, that was cool. I don't know. I would say not really anything, which is a weird answer.
That was anticlimactic. Thanks.
No, I didn't really think about it, but there's not. I mean, the Predator's there, and he uses some different weapons. I mean, it was cool they brought in the cannon. I feel like these Predators, from the very first movie on, the Predators get worse and worse at their cannon blasting, especially in the next movie. But I mean, I feel like they're just not that accurate, or maybe the Xenomorphs are just too quick.
Maybe.
If anything, I think the Alien franchise got just a little bit more special treatment when it comes to visuals. And I know you said some of the CGI is a little bit off, and blood on invisible predators that we talked about before.
In the beginning, that was awful.
Yeah. But like the Alien Queen just looked amazing.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. But so that's something I did want to bring up, because I don't know why, but I guess I was under the mental impression that the Queen that we see in the earlier movies, like, I guess I always thought there was only one. And then when that one dies, there's another one. But this shows that there could easily be multiple at one time, because who knows how long that Queen was there?
That Queen had been there a minute.
But that's what I mean. Like, so are there different queens? And if there is, does that mean there's different hives? Like, could there be warring factions of xenomorphs that serve different queens?
I don't know if they would war or not. See,
like if two anthills ran into each other, would they?
Depends on what type of ants they are.
You see what I mean? It just brings up a question about their basic life structure. I don't know what the right word here is.
We have a section towards the end where we'll talk about the future, and we'll bring this back up again.
Okay.
Because I think that's some good talking points to get to. It's like we don't have a structure.
It's like the worst two movies in all of this, and yet we have some of the deepest questions for this.
Yeah, and that's strange. So we got the plot. What about you? Is there anything specific that you...
Facehuggers.
Quotes.
The cloaking ability, of course. And I really liked that we got to see the Predator's code of honor again. Even in, I mean, you could tell they were zealous younger teenager almost. Yautja. I saw a thing online. Someone called them Yautjuas.
Yautjua? Well, it's Yautja.
Yeah, I know. So I'm not sure.
Somebody on the phone today was trying to say the word too. He's like,
comment below or send a message.
Pronunciation.
Let us know how to say this.
Yeah, I think it's Yautja. I'm always going to say it.
I really like that even as a younger, more ready to get in there and kill stuff, they still followed their code. I mean, they demolished the people that were topside, but...
Well, they had weapons.
They did.
Did they?
They did, but they weren't really a threat.
Did the miner guy have weapons? Well, see, here's my thing, though. They get their topside. They take out the people in the fishing village that's been abandoned forever. I think it's a fishing village. Doesn't matter. I think they're screwing around there because they're like, well, the heat bloom started, but we got time. There's some, let's do a little practicing here.
So wait, you're telling me it's the lobby?
Yeah, it was like target practice for them. Get a little warm up, get a little run around the track before we run the race, And then they're like, oh, well, we need to get down here. Like, oh, okay, we got to go now. Had they not messed around with those guys, they could have been down there. I did like when the ship flies over the village. Like, I thought that was done really...
yeah.
Like, it's just a whispering, quiet...
Very clean.
What was that? What was that?
It was very clean. Yeah.
Yeah, very whisper quiet. Is there anything that you learned in your research about anything like trivia wise behind the scenes that you thought was pretty awesome, pretty amazing? You're like, what?
We did talk briefly off mic about the Queen. What was it? There was a puppet, CGI, and then an animatronic that they used for the Queen. So there was 3 different models used. The animatronic, I'm pretty sure they said it took like 12 people to man, or maybe it was the puppet, because it was a big puppet.
Well, I did learn that it was the most intricate and advanced like puppet like realistic effect at the time, like animatronic, like the most advanced because of all the moving parts and everything they had to do with it to make it work. And she's huge in the movie.
Well, and that's something I really liked about it, too, is they didn't rely solely on CGI and whatnot. They went
Practical effects.
They went back to what worked, practical effects every time.
I guess this movie was really called Hunt: Alien vs. Predator. That was the original title.
Interesting.
The spear that Lex is given at the end.
Made from the xenomorph tail?
No, the one that the Elder gives to her when it's all said and done.
Oh, yeah.
That shows up in The Predator. So when Olivia Munn's character walks into the bio lab when they got the Predator strapped down, there's a trophy wall.
Because that was in 2014 or something like that?
I don't remember when that came out. Something like that.
It was a ways later. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's in the trophy case that's up on the wall. I didn't even realize.
How do you know it's the same spear?
People on the internet say it is.
Oh, perfect. I mean, that makes sense.
If we get, if IMBD trivia says it's the right thing, then it is.
You mean IMDb that gave this movie a massive 5.7 out of 10?
Yeah, that's better than 4.7 out of 10.
That is. Yes, yeah. It is.
So the original setting was supposed to be on a planet called Ryushi, which was from the comics.
Wait, on a planet?
Yeah, a predator hunting ground. And I'm curious.
Sounds familiar.
If this lingered on somewhere and ended up in Predators, because obviously they're on a predator hunting ground. But they never named that planet. So I'm curious if the planet in Predators is Ryushi. I never read the comics or anything. Roland Emmerich and Guillermo del Toro were both attached to this at one point to direct before Anderson got his mitts on it. That
could have been a completely different movie if Guillermo del Toro took over.
Wow.
Pan's Labyrinth with...
My brain just goes crazy just fantasizing what he could have done with this. I guess he went on and did Hellboy instead. Whatever Roland Emmerich did, I'm not sure. But the music guy is known to do a lot of stuff with him.
Okay.
So he stuck around. The Predator's thermal vision looks nothing like it does in the other Predators. What's up with this?
Yeah.
Why did they change this
I can see that,
It's not really a trivia thing, but it's in my notes here.
Well, that's their like little wrist computer thing. It looked totally different too.
Yeah, I think this is like a different timeline. I'm going to go with that.
How? You and your timelines.
Well, I mean, it doesn't connect to the other ones, and they have been ignored in the other movies, other than The Predator, I suppose. I don't have anything specific in trivia. I didn't find a lot in the deep dives for either one of these movies that I found particularly interesting, worth noting, or talking about.
I did have...
It makes perfect sense that we're doing an entire episode on this.
Oh, of course. I did have that Lex is based off of a character from the comic book, but you already took that wind out of my sail.
I don't know if it was this one. I heard something, but I read it the other day that when this alien queen is, like, when she gets stabbed or something and she's, like, puking up blood or something, that they couldn't get it to stop, and it kept, like, hitting Lathan in the face or something. Like, the takes were all messed up. I don't know. Yeah, it was something weird.
Wow. So I did read, I love fan theories, but there was a huge fan theory that the queen's not dead, that she was being pulled to the bottom of the Antarctica Ocean, yeah.
Antarctic.
Sure, why not?
Arctic Ocean.
And that she's just going to refreeze.
Well, yeah.
She thawed out originally, which I guess they were supposedly going to use that at some point as like an expedition finds her or something and brings her up, not knowing exactly what it is. But obviously, we never got an AVP3.
It would have been, they could have like mixed it in with like the Abyss or Leviathan, and some like underwater crew finds it, kind of like The Thing.
That'd be cool, yeah.
But it's just like some frozen, like they can't tell, or maybe she's like turned into goo a little bit or something. She's been down there for so long, or maybe they just find parts, but somehow people get impregnated and all over, and they can redo Deep Star 6 because that movie sucks. That's right. I jumped back onto my horror movie kick. I'm currently in 1989. I was like, I've never seen that. And everybody says it's not good, but how bad could it be? It's not good.
Oh, okay.
Leviathan is way better. It's
Nice.
like the Thing underwater.
I did read another fun theory that in Predator 2, when we see the xenomorph skull on the wall in the trophy room, that was originally meant to be more of like not really a diss on Alien, but more of a our character's stronger than yours. Our character could kill you, and that was what kind of sparked this idea originally of, well, why don't they meet? And well, this is why they don't meet.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh,
Yeah, it did pretty decent in the box office for expecting to just be trash and not do well. I saw some.
yeah, I have the numbers here.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says, even though it received negative reviews for the most part, it still grossed $177.4 million worldwide against its $60 to $70 million production budget, which means it over doubled its revenue. It paid itself back and then some, quite a bit. So I mean, it did really well.
If you look
for the
at how
time.
much each movie's made in all the franchises, it's not at the bottom.
Right.
Like it's in the bottom quarter, but it's still done pretty well. Then it's good because it's a fun action popcorn movie. So, do you want to go into what you didn't like or what you do like about this movie? Want to get the negative out of the way? I like to get the negative out of the way. That way I can give praise at the end.
All right, so we'll dive right into my first negative that you're going to say it's a different timeline, but I'm going to say it anyways, okay?
Go ahead.
This movie severely hurts the continuity of all the source material.
If you include it, it does.
You have to include it.
I don't. Is there a Bible that says I have to?
The timeline shows that the Predators were interacting with the ancient civilizations. They taught them how to build the pyramids, like
none of that makes sense when it comes
to the
Prometheus.
Egyptians.
Yeah. None of it makes sense.
And then it showed them fighting the xenomorphs on the pyramids. But then this was supposed to be based like in our time right now.
This is one of those this is one of the I almost said timeline. This is one of those ancient civilizations that Graham Hancock that it's disappeared. That's why we can't find them, Graham. It's because the Predators wiped them out.
That whole idea apparently was based on the whole ancient aliens helping ancient civilizations.
Right.
Like it was the actual theory of that was used in the development and birth of this whole movie. But come on, man! Like you jump to Covenant and you find out that
here's the deal.
that David created these perfect beings.
Ridley Scott ignored these movies because he doesn't include them in his timeline.
He didn't he?
Which is gonna be kind of crazy as we talk about the future franchise because there's gonna be some more ignoring going on.
Oh, that makes me mad.
Yeah.
All right, what do you hate or dislike? Not hate. Dislike.
I didn't like the inconsistency of the acid blood.
Okay.
It burns some things, doesn't burn other things. So here's the deal. These three predators are going to be sent to this planet. They know what the xenomorphs are. I'm assuming, like, they're not just going to send them blind. Hey, this is an ancient temple thing that we breed these. It's your turn to go hunt them. They should know about the physiology. Either that or they're just very inept predators, the first two. And the one looks really cool because he had like the skulls, like sticks and skulls on the back there. And the other thing that kind of irritated me is the gestation period. It's kind of like Star Trek. The ship moves at the speed of plot. Well, the impregnation moves at the speed of plot in these later movies. Takes 5 minutes for some. I could get maybe why the Predator takes longer. Yeah, maybe it's a different, but for humans,
it still took a long time though.
Yeah, for humans that we've seen in so many movies, we know there's a rough time. But these ones, it just didn't make sense why it was so quick, like so fast.
Right.
And you can't really go by evolution because these aliens are way before, as opposed to the aliens in the future, and that's when you start getting into your inconsistency with time.
That's just like you see the blood, the acid blood burns the ground a little bit. But in the movie Alien, you see the acid blood
Nostromo was
literally burning through the hulls of this metal ship, not stone. Like, so I completely understand where you're coming from.
I feel like they just, but I also remember
it was convenience.
Resident Evil 1 and 2, kind of cool, but after that, it's like, what the Fraggle Rock are we watching here? And Anderson just does whatever he wants on screen. Like, it's some crazy stuff. And I did like the Predator vision.
Yeah.
Don't screw with the Predator vision. So when you ask me what specific thing for the franchise is like, and you know that I like Predator more, I can't really say anything specific that I loved because they kind of changed things around. It was cool. The Predators were really strong, and it did show their strength. Even against a xenomorph, they were shoulder blocking them through the pillars,
charging straight at yeah.
I mean, the action stuff was cool, but we're on to the things we don't like. So I said Predator Vision. You got anything else?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what? Oh yeah.
So
it's gonna be a late night.
All right. Now this is just more of a nitpick, but we've seen predators not kill before. We've seen them not kill the pregnant cop in Predator 2. We've seen
the little kid. You want some candy?
Yeah, but we've never seen them stop, make an alliance with, and help arm another person.
I think he saw how badass she was.
Really though?
Yeah, I mean, she was holding her own.
She'd still be insanely inferior to him in his eyes.
Oh, of course. Well, at first he was walking away.
But I mean, that's what I mean. It's one thing to...
And she's like, hey, man, get over here. I'm going to beat you up.
Well, Wayland did that too, and then he got...
Yeah, he just knocked him out of the way. But...
No, I don't know. I mean, I just had a little bit of a hard time, like, oh, you're going to follow your code of honor. Okay, cool. But this is your coming of age ritual thing.
Well,
like,
let me ask you this. Do you have a code of ethics that you try to follow every day to be a good person?
Sure.
You fuck those up?
No,
daily?
Never.
Never? Oh, okay. I forgot you were perfect. I apologize.
I am perfect.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to put
throw my whole entire point out there.
I'm going to put an angel right here. No, I see what you mean. Sometimes you have to twist things.
Every once in a while, even a monk probably punches somebody, you know?
I don't know about that. I mean...
Okay, every once in a while, a monk accidentally steps on a blade of grass.
If you're a monk, leave a comment below. Yeah, steps on a blade of grass. They accidentally kill a beetle.
If you play a monk in D&D, let us know.
Ooh.
Emily is a fairy monk.
I had a friend who played it was a monk, and he took the way of the drunken fist or something like that.
That's awesome.
So his character was always drunk. The problem was he purposely would get actually drunk to play, and it got really old really quick.
Yeah, I bet that would.
It did, yeah. All right, what about you? Anything else?
It was PG-13.
It was. Which is stark contrast to its sequel.
Yes, which I think was a refreshing change, but we'll get to that later. You think with Anderson known for his Resident Evil type stuff, and I don't know if I think Resident Evil was before this, wasn't it? The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that movie's pretty wicked. I mean, we can definitely do some research there as I ramble on here, but it is a nice tight movie that doesn't have a whole lot of extra filler, and it does have some xenomorph blood going on.
2 years prior.
2 years prior.
Yep.
I just maybe they thought PG-13 was just gonna make. I mean, Scream. Well, way years before that made a lot of money for being.
They might have thought they could just pull in a broader audience by going 13 and like get a new, fresh audience for the franchises, but I feel like it disappointed the diehard fans.
Yeah, definitely it waters down. Predators skin people alive, which
we didn't see.
No skinning alive in this one. They didn't have time.
We strung the one guy up topside, but I don't think he ever skinned him.
Yeah, I think they had to realize they had to rush down there.
Maybe.
But even then, they were kind of waltzing towards the door.
I want to see them go down the tunnel. Did they like slip and slide down it?
I don't know. One of the trivia things was some of these people watch these movies like eagles. They're like,
oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, there was like 9 cords, but there was clearly only 6 people or something. And the one dude that survived topside went sliding down, like he should have not have landed where he did. And when they first get there, Lex says they're directly above the pyramid, but if that tunnel is 30 degrees and that long, there's absolutely no way they were directly. Like, these people are like really digging into this stuff.
Maybe it curves.
That's what she likes. Anyway,
oh my.
Let's move on to what we do like about this, unless you have a crap ton that you hate.
I got one more that I don't like.
One more.
And it's, again, you're gonna just tell me, get over it. Okay, it's more of a logistical thing. Okay, the young Yautjas.
Yes, the 3 teens. They gotta be teens.
They're showing up to do their coming of age ritual. There was the bloom thing, the heat bloom, whatever. They show up.
Yes.
They go down and they're gonna do all this fun jazz. How would they have done this if the people weren't there? They were gonna do it regardless, right? But the Wayland expedition showed up to do their own thing, unexpected to the Predators and everyone else, I assume. Because, I mean, how would they ever
made
know?
The tunnel before the people got there, because they showed up and saw the tunnel.
Who?
The Predators made the tunnel.
Yes.
Because when the humans got there, like, hey, where the hell did this tunnel come from?
Yes, but the Predators weren't down there yet. How did the Predators know that humans would show up? Because they need the humans in order to gestate the alien.
Maybe they were just going to go shut down the reactor to the thing. They were just going to go shut it down. Maybe that was their plan.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe their major plan wasn't to start a whole entire deal, even though that's what the hieroglyphs say. Maybe somebody up top in the corporate offices of the Yautja LLC was like, listen, that was a money waster. We lost a ton on that one. Let's send in Jimmy, John, and Joey down in there, and let's take care of this. They're goof offs. Get them from the mailroom. Send them down. They live. They die. They die. I don't even give a shit if it's the president's son. Send them down there, and we'll shut this down. They weren't planning on actually starting up a whole entire deal. I'm just spitballing.
I don't know.
Here.
I don't know.
That's the thing with these movies. They don't.
Is that why they came without weapons? Because they weren't expecting a resistance?
Yeah, they were just going to go down there and flick the switch.
So do you think the human interference, do you think it made things better or worse?
Worse. What are humans good for?
Becoming xenomorphs. Or birthing xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, because I just watched it a couple days ago. I watched them both again just as a final refresher. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. Like, first off, where did the face huggers just come from? The eggs have been sitting there for like hundreds of years?
Well, she got warmed up. She started pumping.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, she screams for a little bit, then 2 shots later, they come in after her.
If the humans weren't there and they were there for their coming of age ritual, were they just gonna like run around punching face huggers?
I don't know. I think they were just gonna go flick the switch. I really do.
It's like playing against the Flood in Halo with no weapons, just running around punching everything.
This is like the whole Indiana Jones thing. Like, even if he wasn't there, the Nazis still would have died. Like, he didn't do anything but tag along for the adventure. I don't care what anybody says. It was a great adventure.
Talking about the Ark of the Covenant.
He was not needed for this movie.
Oh man, you're right. I never thought of it that way.
It's the one fan theory that I do prescribe to because it's true.
We should do an episode all on Indiana Jones and just break down how ridiculously amazing and ridiculous those movies are.
Then you're gonna have to come over so we can actually watch the one, and Danae's just out of luck.
Yeah, because I love those movies. Not Crystal Skull. Can we skip that one?
No, man, it's definitely not the. Okay,
all right.
No.
That is my last. That is my last dislike. Well, there's more, but that's my last like real
major one
dislike about it was what were they doing there other than their ritual? But if there were no people, how were they going to do it? Unless they were expecting that fishing village to still be populated.
No, they got to keep up on human timeline. They got to know what's going on with this.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. They give you enough story, but not enough backstory.
Did it say how often they did this?
I think there's a number in there, but I don't remember. It's probably like an even 100 or 1,000 or something.
It's probably like
500.
Every 17 years and 4 months.
Is that Eastern Standard Time? Or?
Yeah. What do you like about this?
Well, I like that the movie's short and sweet. Not a lot of extra filler. I like that it's straight to the point.
It was a shorter movie.
Yeah, so
like
like
an hour and a half.
Yeah, they're like, here's the aliens. They're coming alive. Here's some predators to stop them. Some humans are going to get murdered in the middle.
All of them, yeah.
You know, it was a lot of inconsistencies, but if you just kind of like look past them, it's just a short, sweet movie. Despite all the inconsistencies, the movie's just kind of popcorn fun, but it probably would have been better if it would have been, rated R.
Well, that is one thing I had written down for my praises is very fun movie. Not amazing, but fun.
It's a good back. You don't have to think about this movie.
It was definitely a good, like, put on just for something to be on TV. Watch it, play on your phone, watch it. I mean, it's one of those movies you can
look up when the predators, charging and they're fighting and they're slicing them, the dude right behind them like a ninja.
Now, like the original Alien, I'll sit there glued to the TV.
I don't understand. I got to throw this in there now to think about it because I said the ninja part. Why did Scar, that's the main why did he take his helmet off?
Well, because he had to burn that symbol into it for his first xenomorph kill. That's my understanding.
And he couldn't wait until it was...
That was my understanding, because when she kills her first...
That's why plot.
That's when he burns onto her cheek.
Yeah, great place for that,
Yep, right in the middle of the...
It's going to make a good story at the bar.
Yeah. So I have to say it, I love the concept of having 2 major enemies like that from 2 different franchises in one place.
I agree with you on this point that it's a big swing that somebody finally said, let's do this. Let's bring these 2 franchises together.
Well, and I mean, this was pre-MCU, by a year, but still, like, it was before the idea of, let's take a whole bunch of movies and mash them into an extended universe together. Like, they took 2 franchises that had both been around for 20 years at this point.
Is this 2004? Well, I was just looking because Freddy vs. Jason was 2003. So
do you think that influenced?
I did, because at that time and for a long time, Freddy vs. Jason was the highest grossing horror movie.
Seriously?
Yes, it was. I saw that in the theater with my mom and my best friend.
When
But
he
yeah,
walks out of the water and Freddy winks.
yeah. All I know is Jason closed his eye last, so he won. But the fact that was Jason closed his eyes last, so he won.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Jason won. So I think the popularity of that and them going, oh my God, we can merge these two franchises. Like if it worked there, it can work here and we can make a crap ton of money. It didn't make, I don't believe it made as much money altogether as Freddy versus Jason. I think Freddy and Jason had a bigger fan base. Everybody knows who Freddy versus, like everybody knows who these characters are. I guess you would know who the alien is, but a lot of people like haven't seen a bunch of alien movies, maybe.
Everyone hears Freddy Krueger and they think, oh, he kills you in your dreams.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
You hear Jason Voorhees and you think guy in a ski mask with a big machete. But you hear Predator and all you know is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Get through the chopper.
You hear Alien and you just think of,
if it bleeds,
Geiger.
kill it.
Like, I totally understand. This is two franchises that people may not have really known a whole lot about prior to this coming out.
I wish you could go back in 2004, 2003 and say, just grab 50 people and say, raise your hand who saw Alien 3. Or you can raise your hand and who saw...
Raise your hand if you want to admit you saw Alien.
Like who saw Freddy 3 or Jason 3, they're like, oh, wait a minute, is that the one where he's, like how... I think they're just more popular. I think they were trying to ride those coattails and, it was still a success. I'm not downing it here, but it is what it is. And here we are 20 years later, as you keep pointing out. I thought the action sequences were pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty well put together. There's a scene where, at the end where Scar goes flying up in the air, twirling around, kind of like silent.
Yes. Yeah. She's about to get destroyed by the Queen, and you see him do this like fancy ninja work up in the air behind, and it's horrible CGI.
I thought it was good. I thought it looks cool. I do. I still think it looks cool. I don't think it's cool that he got stabbed right in the chest with a tail, and yet his baby lived. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but
What if it would have got him in the right in the gut, and on the end of the tail through him, you see the xenomorph, the little baby xenomorph hanging there?
And then the alien just screams even more. Speaking of the alien, I thought, like we talked about how big of the performance it was for that.
Yeah.
But it looked wet. It looked gross. It looked nasty. It looked menacing. The alien queen was awesome.
Oh, absolutely. That was my favorite part of the whole movie. The design, and that was my other
they brought
major
back the
praise.
Breath a little bit. That frozen breath.
Yes. Yeah. Well, see, that was my other praise. Like the costume and overall design of the Queen, the Predator, like everything about that, I thought was so beautifully done. I know you're not going to do it, but if you take the time, if you're listening to us now, get on YouTube, pull up a clip of like that final battle and pause it and just take a minute to appreciate the insane detail that they put into these costumes. Well, again, the Queen wasn't a costume, it was a puppet and stuff, but it's just mind-blowing. Like, it's beautiful. And like you said, like, you literally see how they're supposed to be like heavily salivating, and you see it just
weird like
dripping.
mercury type blood or drool, I guess. I don't know. It's weird how they do it,
it's
but
beautiful.
And I like the size. Dude, she was like a not a T-Rex, but more like an Allosaurus or something. Like she was just big.
Yeah.
Like we never seen a xenomorph like this big before. We got Ripley's kid in Resurrection, sort of big, and that queen was big, but like this queen is like huge. She was like shackled. Got some BDSM going down there in the jungle.
The Queen in Aliens.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one was bigger.
Really?
I think this chick's bigger.
So
I think this one was full grown. I think the one in Aliens was still growing. I think you give her like another I mean, they grow fast. Give her a couple more days and she might be this size.
This one was down there for what, hundreds of years easily, thousands. I mean, as a big mama.
I did like how they broke her out.
So I love that, but it also ticks me off because it doesn't tick me off that they broke the mama queen out by stabbing her to use her acid blood to burn the chains. It ticked me off that they stole that and put it in Resurrection how many years later when the siblings kill the third one to burn a hole in the floor to break out.
Is Resurrection after AVP? In my head, it's always before.
I looked it up because I'm thinking...
Where's Resurrection from?
What?
I don't know. When is Resurrection from?
Let me look.
Have this info.
But it made me mad because I looked it up thinking like, holy crap, they stole that from Resurrection. And I was like, oh my word, they didn't. It's just one more reason why Resurrection is trash.
Resurrection's from 1997.
Okay, reverse what I said. What I meant is...
I was like, what? Like, there's no way Sigourney Weaver came back after AVP.
Oh, yeah, okay, let me reverse that. Everything I said still stands. It just made me mad they copied the exact same method to break out something.
I want to know why
My apologies.
Why the chains did not account for acid. You have this massive creature with acid blood. You don't just... You have this alien technology even back then. You couldn't make some metal.
Well, I feel...
Just in case.
I feel like the xenomorphs were never meant to get down to the queen.
Yeah, what if she starts ripping her wrist around and she cuts her wrist and acid blood starts coming out?
Band-aids.
No, I'm just saying, like, why doesn't it? I guess.
I mean, she's not stupid. She would have to... yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the inconsistencies.
Yep.
Overall, a good friend of mine. Out of 10, what do you give this movie?
Oh, man. Out of 10, IMDb is a 5.7. I would have to give it...
Your personal score.
I would have to give it a 6.5.
6.5.
While it wasn't in any way my favorite of the two franchises, it was incredibly entertaining, and it was a completely new look at those universes for me. As someone who doesn't watch horror movies nearly as much, I mean, every now and then, Freddy vs. Jason it never came on my radar. I've never seen it. Well, I've seen bits and pieces, like on TV. That's how I know about the whole head thing.
It hasn't aged well.
This was something that, loving both franchises... Because, again, I just saw both full franchises for the first time about a year ago. I'd seen the original Alien, the original Predator, early teens on television all the time. This pulled two universes that I was in love with and put them together. And even though it wasn't the best movie in the world, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's like Ant-Man Quantumania to me. Not the best movie in the world, but I liked it because it was a lot of fun.
I think I'd watch this before that.
Oh, I would too. But
I give it a 7.
All right.
6.57, that's pretty close. 7 to me is a good movie. 8's a solid, great movie. 9 is like awesome. And 10 is like Return of the King. So good luck beating it.
10, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A whole lot of 10s out there.
How do you think that this movie affects each franchise in its own?
Well, it's ignored. So I don't think it affects it a lot. If you mean by like inspiration for future ideas.
Yeah.
I think it might have given them the horrible idea in The Predator that they could do some wacky stuff. I mean, obviously in that one, they have the staff in there. So there had to have been, if they took the time to watch AVP and bring that in, they're like, oh, okay. So it might have been some inspiration there.
Oh, wait, you mean it's just another point saying that this is in the continuity that doesn't make sense? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Yeah. If you're on that not the sacred timeline, if you're on that branch, you know how I feel about branches.
What would you change about this movie?
What would I change
to make
about
it better? To make it more
rated R.
And really?
I'd make it rated R to make it better. And I would
put some of those xenomorph dogs, predator dogs in it.
Xenodogs.
Dude, could you imagine those
what if that's like an alien delicacy, xenodogs? Like we have hot dogs, they have xenodogs. Maybe.
Could you imagine though, like having those predator dogs from the movie Predators and dropping them into the tight spaces of this pyramid? Like, oh man, that'd be horrible. That'd be
predator
terrifying.
Dog that gets impregnated
By an alien dog?
I think it would be cool. Well, we're going to talk about this later. I'm going to hold that thought.
Oh, good. Right back to that structure. That structure we have.
You got to have structure. Well, no, I did type an outline. It just, I got to follow it, I suppose.
See,
I'm not a professional.
This outline, I thought about questions that I would ask myself and wrote them down as questions to ask you because why not? So I'm going to interview you.
Okay, go ahead.
So looking at this movie in respect to both franchises, all that funness, what did you enjoy the most versus what did you find to be the most disappointing when you went into this, fresh, not really knowing what to expect? It's just, holy crap, it's Alien versus Predator. What were you insanely disappointed by? And what did you actually...
the Predators got killed?
The first two.
Yeah, they just got taken out. Okay, one of them gets taken out like nobody's business. The second one puts up a 2-minute fight, gets taken out. I was like, what? Now, I understand that you have to level the playing field.
Yes, but it was also by baby xenomorphs, just fresh.
Yeah, that's why these are young pups. These aren't very experienced. I don't know. That kind of irritated me.
What'd you enjoy? Watching it, what was something that you left the theater thinking, wow, that was a really cool aspect?
I just like the third Predator beating the hell out of everything. I did.
Did you like Grid?
Grid, the one that got killed second?
No,
Or are you talking about the
Grid-
alien that is called Grid because
Grid
of the
was the
thing?
xenomorph that they threw that like contracting net on,
Yeah.
and it like cut
I
into
liked
its
how
skull.
there's a scene where it slinks back into the shadows when it starts like
Like it was
I can't remember the
smarter.
specific scene, but there was something going on, and it was like gonna impulsively do something, and then it slunk back into the shadow, like it was thinking. And that's
Oh.
what I like. It brought me back to like the original Predator. I mean, I'm sorry. Let me respeak. The original xenomorph from Alien that kind of was sneaky and was like devious. Reminds you of like a raptor, you know?
Like those commercials of that basketball player. Oh.
Not in my house.
Oh man. So what's your favorite scene? We do it every
Final fight scene.
the final fight.
Yeah, the one with the horribly bad ballerina CGI.
Yeah, that. See, mine's right after the final fight. I really like the scene of the big elder giving Lex the weapon because it was just a hardcore callback to Danny Glover.
Yes.
I almost said Donald Glover, but no, not.
Spider-Man in this?
Yeah, it was a great callback to the pistol and everything. Any other comments on the first AVP from 20 years ago?
I'm glad it happened because I think it opened the door for some other things in our world to meet up when it comes to cinema. Not really have anything that specific comes to mind, but I know something has happened somewhere. The franchises, maybe
Marvel.
not. Yeah, Marvel.
All of Marvel.
Hey, well, I think WB's aren't they like buying Paramount soon or something? So,
Yeah, I heard something about that.
yeah, pretty soon, like it's all gonna be one big company.
It's all going to be Disney.
So then you will see Star Trek and Star Wars and Terminator and Jurassic Park, and they're all just gonna be mixed in together. It's gonna be great.
I'll be back home, eaten by T-Rex. No, you won't.
Toretto
Alright.
just rips in with his charger and just slams into a xenomorph.
With
talking to my family.
with Caesar the monkey in the passenger seat. Just a heads up, if you haven't stuck around to the very end of our episodes, I do throw a random little soundbite at the end of every episode with a fun little AI image, and the one was absolutely a Vin Diesel looking character next to a monkey on a black charger with Michael's soundbite saying family. I can't do it, sorry.
Family.
But AI wouldn't let me do Vin Diesel. It literally came up saying, due to copyright reasons, we can't do this. Would you like me to make a tall, bald white man instead? And I'm like, yes, please do that.
Listen, we were shooting some images back and forth, and I kept trying to use Tom Hanks, and I was getting some issues. Yeah,
Dude,
don't worry. Some of those images did work, and I'm going to be putting them on socials. So,
No,
or they're already there, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's the one
Well,
he's talking about now."
we agreed on the one for the cover
Yes,
of the
that's
Predator
definitely the
episode.
cover of this one.
I literally had tears laughing
That
at
was like
work.
the first one you made too, like your first prompt.
Oh,
on
it's
that
so
one.
good.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Moving on to the second movie.
3 years later, they
Better
decided
the
to
two. Just
pump
kidding.
out another one, AVP Requiem.
I think from now on, when we do these, I should actually put the year next to the title.
Oh, I
that way I
always-
can remember they come out.
So let's diving into it. We'll get the logistics out of the way. It grossed 130.2 million worldwide on a budget of 40 million. So they were given less money, but they actually technically made more.
Yeah, but did you see the domestic in that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was worldwide, I said. And IMDb came in at a huge 4.6. I'm pretty confident, if I remember correctly, in saying that is the lowest of both franchises.
More than likely.
I think Resurrection and 3 were both like low 5s, but I don't think they were 4s.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
Who directed this?
This is directed by the brothers Colin and Greg Strauss.
Brother Strauss, who did who were doing the Skyline series, another Alien movie.
Oh, yeah.
That I saw the first one, seemed cool, and then never watched anything else after
I
that.
saw the trailers. Music was by someone I don't have written down.
Brian Tyler, who's done Marvel movies. This dude has done movies
Yes,
about
Aerosmith.
Yeah, that's Steven Tyler.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know.
Loving an elevator.
Could you imagine if he did the soundtrack for this?
There'd be a very slow ballad at some point in the middle of it.
Dude looks like a predator.
And then you just see the predator like taking a cookie cracker a little down up the stomach of the xenomorph. Don't want to miss a thing.
Again, I say this every episode. If you can do CGI, please send us these. I need to see this now.
Yeah, when I wrote down Brian Tyler, I wrote next to it a fuck ton of big budget movies. He did Thor: Dark World. He's done a lot of stuff.
Again, not a horrible movie.
I'm not sure. I didn't see it on there, but I think he might have done 300. I think that was Brian Tyler Joy. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. You can go through the cast on this one. I did the cast of the last one whenever you are ready.
All right. So diving into the cast of this one, we have Dallas Howard.
Stephen Pasquale.
Good, because I did not know how to pronounce that last name, so I'm glad you jumped in there. He is playing a recently released convict, and...
Can I just, make fun of these as you go? Cause...
Please, that will actually make this movie worth watching.
I just got out of prison, and I got this really cool leather jacket I picked up at JCPenney, and just so you know, I'm a badass.
He reminded me of, a dollar store James Dean.
Yeah, I guess... yeah. There's that guy.
Kelly O'Brien, played by Ryko Aylesworth. She's a soldier returning home to her family after deployment.
I'm not going to make fun of her.
The daughter hates her because she wasn't there, but doesn't hate her, just acts estranged to her.
I don't want you to read me a story.
Yeah.
Whatever, kid.
Eddie Morales, played by John Ortiz, the sheriff
This guy.
of Gunnison and childhood friend to Dallas.
I love the name of the town.
Gunnison.
Are we believing this guy's the sheriff? Well, even he can't. He's like, I can't believe I'm sheriff. Like, I can't either. Like, where?
Well, they even say at one point something like, oh, you usually ride in the back of the police car. Oh, I remember when you used to be back here with me. Then why are you the sheriff?
I did not type this in, so I gotta say it now. Before you forget. Why is it that when the murders start happening, that his childhood friend all of a sudden is just walking crime scenes with him and riding he's just like, oh no, it's cool. This is my buddy. Hey, it's cool. I got a leather jacket. And everybody just knows everybody in town.
Well, let's jump to a real crime type situation. Dude got out of prison. Murders are happening.
But it's cool. Your buddy's the sheriff, and he knows you're innocent, and he's gonna let you inspect.
Yeah, you don't think you're gonna be the number one suspect here, bro?
If somebody walked in, and I'm the medical examiner, and I'm checking stuff out, and he's like, "What do you got going on?" I look up and go, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
Wait, why is he here? Did you just get out of prison? Did you murder these people?
Can I see your fingerprints?
Anyway, move on.
Ricky Howard, who is the son of Dallas Howard. I mean, not son, sorry, brother of Dallas Howard, played by Johnny Lewis.
Which is worse, Ricky Howard or Johnny Lewis?
Ricky Bobby.
Johnny Lewis sounds like somebody just made up a name for him.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know where it is, but I've seen this guy in something else somewhere, and he wasn't that bad.
Well, okay, so he's a high school student who looks like he's 25, and he's the little brother of Dallas.
Badass.
He is a pizza delivery driver who immediately, first thing we see is him getting into a fight with all these
over-exaggerated bully boyfriend. Hey, don't you look her direction.
Yeah,
what did I tell you, Jimmy Lewis?
When the whole time, all I could think the whole time is that bully, I forget what his name was, but he looked like his aspect ratio was stretched horizontally. If you look at him, he's a very wide face and body.
David Petticow plays Dale Collins.
Dale.
I don't know if you've ever been a good Dale.
I have friends named Dale, and I'm sorry, but...
Do you have a friend named Chip?
No, I see what you did there.
Rescue Rangers.
And of course his keys go down in the sewer, so we gotta... But we'll get to that when we do a quick recap. Next up, we have Sam Tramwell as Tim O'Brien. He's the husband of Kelly. Again, Kelly is the soldier who was deployed, and he's trying to be a good dad. He's trying to be a good husband, but he came across
some other things, and he wasn't in here for very long. So
no, he
really
wasn't.
Crashed this guy.
He came across very flat. I
don't know. I was like, why isn't I don't want to sound archaic, but this dude looked like maybe he should have also been in the military.
Yeah. Then we got Molly O'Brien, played by Ariel Gade. She's the daughter of Kelly and Tim. She plays a kind of important part, very, very, very briefly.
Yeah, well, she's like the kid in Jurassic Park that always play with goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, when we go over the movie, I have a few minor things to say about her. And it's not even her acting or the actress. It's just
reminds me
writing.
Whatever young girl was in Megan, I feel like these two are related somehow. They're way different in time, but I'm like, is that the same actress?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say,
age?
The mom gets out of the taxi. The mom walks up to the door. She's giving her husband a hug. The girl comes out, gets into her bag, pulls out $800 night vision goggles. And she's like, is this for me? No, put it down.
How did you bring that?
Like that is issued equipment that shouldn't have left your base.
Sensitive items that should be behind a cage somewhere at the depot. Like, what are you doing hanging around in your knapsack?
That is called plot armor.
My lord.
Then we got Colonel Stevens by
You have the same list I do,
played
apparently.
by Robert Joy. Oh yeah, I stole this from yours.
No.
It was the end of the day today, and I realized I didn't put the cast down for this movie, and I'm like, oh, I bet Michael did. Yep, there it is.
Sure did.
He was the commander of the military. He's also the prick on the phone towards the end, which we'll get to. I really didn't like him. I don't like him in anything he plays in, which is how you know he's a good actor.
He's good at that.
That's how you know he's a good actor, because I don't
He's good
like
at playing
him.
a douche.
Yeah.
He's very good at it.
And then finally, I have Kristen Hager playing Jesse Salinger, the love interest to Ricky, the one who gets, mostly naked. Look at my bikini at the swimming pool, but it just looks like lingerie. Yeah.
And listen, I don't want to lead you on because I have this really bullyish boyfriend that's gonna beat the shit out of you.
But look at me.
Do you want to flirt with me while he's right there?
Yeah.
What?
In my honest opinion, she is the reason he got beat up in the beginning. She provoked it. She's that drama queen that you need to keep away from, guys.
I couldn't quite tell. Did she lure him to the pool to get his ass beat?
Well, see, that's the thing.
But then she's like, no, Dale, don't.
They get to the pool, and she gets all sexy, and she stands in front of the clock because that's a thing in this movie. And then they show up, immediately.
Directly.
Oh, no, don't beat him up.
What is going on?
Did you hijack her phone, or did he, or LoJack, or did she call you? Come on. Yeah.
Dude, this episode's going to be great for this one. This section of the episode.
Do you want to give a quick recap of the plot?
Okay, so from the first movie, the Predator gets impregnated. He doesn't wake up.
And this movie does pick up literally right there.
Minutes after. So he's on the ship, the Predator ship. The Predalien pops out.
Which is a horrible name, by the way.
And very quickly, I'm guessing within the hour, becomes full grown, takes out all but one of the Predators, the Youches on the ship. I mean, he dies, but he's barely alive. Well, he sends out a signal.
On the little ship.
On the little ship, yeah.
Because when they knew something was going on, they detached from the main ship.
Yes.
And flew back to Earth.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. So anyway, this ship crash lands on Earth after it sent its SOS. But if it did detach, why didn't the Predator or the Predators from that ship go do anything?
That's a good question.
So it crash lands. The Predalien survives the crash, gets out of the crash, and there's a guy hunting with his kid, and they get some face huggers that were on the ship attached to him.
I'm pretty sure the kid is also the one who plays the young Sean Spencer in Psych in all the flashbacks. Just saying.
I don't know enough of that show to.
He looks super familiar, and I'm
only seen
90% sure that was him.
Well, there you go. Maybe
if
you're right.
Wrong,
I don't know this.
I'm just gonna start saying loads of garbage and be like, "Oh, that was totally the kid from Full House." If I'm wrong, comment. Interact with us, people. Sorry, go ahead.
We get to see a glimpse of the Predator homeworld.
The first truly rated R part that wasn't an alien death or a Predator death. We get to see the dad and his kid. The dad shoots a face hugger that's jumping at him, gets acid blood on his arm, and his arm melts off.
Yes.
And then he gets impregnated. And the kid.
I mean, the guy put up a fight for a second, but yeah, wasn't gonna.
I will say there are some very disturbing parts in this movie, which was rated R.
We're gonna get to them.
Rated R. I'm guessing the part I hate is probably the part you loved.
I don't know if I'd say I loved the part, but yeah. So you get to see the Predator homeworld for a minute. This dude's chilling in his lazy boy Predator style, and he goes, "Oh well, I guess I should go take care of this issue." Not the ship that was flying in that quadrant. Well, you get to see I didn't write this down either, but the Predator portals, how they jump from one point of space to the other, is kind of some rifts that they make or something. That was pretty cool, showing their technology, how advanced it is.
Maybe the
chaos ensues.
Maybe the Predator race actually goes there in the future, and they come back in time to visit us. And
back in time.
That's how these movies fit into the continuity.
Sounds like a Terminator needs to show up. Well, anyway, yeah, the Predalien and first the face huggers make real aliens. The Predalien starts messing with some homeless people because he's like, fuck this homeless population. We're going to clean this up real quick. Gunnison. I don't know why this little town in Colorado or wherever they have a homeless population
they're like, hey,
issue.
The Predalien, he's like, hey, that deputy said get out of these sewers. I'm going to take you out of these sewers.
Yeah, so anything, things start to spread. Predator shows up. He starts tracking them down very, very slowly. And then, all the punk kids get together and they start noticing things and yada, yada, yada. And then there's some big fights between predators and xenomorphs and humans who now can use predator weapons and the military.
Yeah.
I probably made more sense than what the movie says if you're watching this. Yeah, there you go. That's the basic plot of the movie.
All right, cool.
There it is. If you can clean that up.
Well, that's our episode, guys.
Go right ahead.
So it is set in a small fictional town in Colorado. At least I think it's fictional. I mean, Gunnison. Like you said, it does pick up immediately after the first movie. It follows the Predator and facehuggers crashing and doing bad things to good people. Well, possibly good people. So just a few things that I'm kind of curious about, and I'd love to get your input.
Okay.
Towards the beginning, our veteran Predator shows up to clean up this mess.
I think he's nicknamed Wolf, and that's because of the character from the Tarantino movie with John Travolta.
Interesting.
What's it? Pulp Fiction. There's a character called Wolf. He's a cleaner. So they nicknamed him Wolf because he's supposed to be like the cleaner. He's gonna take care of all this.
So he's there and he pours that blue goo and stuff, and he's basically cleaning up the mess.
The blue goo that never ends.
Yes. And I was reading online, people were saying, oh, well, it's because he was trying to make sure it didn't tie back to them, to the Predators, that they were cleaning up the mess, trying to get rid of the evidence. From who?
The FBI, buddy. You messing with the FBI right now? They will track you down quadrants away. Starfleet is on the way. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, but then we've got him in the woods. He's examining the father and son bodies, because by this point the xenomorphs have burst out and done their business.
Yeah, which is, again, very quickly.
A deputy comes across him.
Hey, you.
Oh, no, he just runs. He sees it, freaks out, and he just runs. The Predator gets in front of him and thrusts his knives up through his gut, killing him, skins him, hangs him upside down. What happened to the code of honor?
What happened to the timeline here?
There was...
why?
Well, there was no...
Screwing around.
Well, and how fast did he get from his planet to Earth? I mean, it was like 25 minutes, 30. It was like a pizza delivery. The dude didn't even pull his weapon. He did nothing wrong.
Xenomorphs.
In the sewers. But the deputy did nothing wrong. What happened to the code of honor?
Well, I mean, this one's just rogue. They're like...
That's what I mean. It's just no, you saw me. Got to clean up the mess. No witnesses? What happened?
Yeah, they don't care if there's witnesses any other time.
Right. No one's going to believe you anyways.
Yeah, like some little sheriff in Gunnison. Oh, we're down there in Gunnison are talking about aliens again. Are we in Utah? No, up there in Gunnison.
Man, and then they go in the basement. They go in the sewer to find his keys. And you mean tell me that it's full
of... They sneak to do it.
And it's full, they snuck in. They were trying to be quiet because the homeless would get disturbed.
What I understand, so the sewer's in the woods where the homeless dudes are. But when they drop the keys and they get down in there, somehow they're only a football field away from where these people were.
Yeah.
That's how did the sewer become miles away to a couple hundred yards? What is going on?
Is the big fancy house he delivered the pizza to right next to the storm drain that looks like trash and it has to smell bad if you look at it?
This movie makes me scratch my head. Brother Strauss must have one brother had one idea, one brother had another idea.
I will say for a rated R, essentially slasher movie of the franchise, I laughed a lot.
Oh, it's a good comedy.
We talked about one part, we'll get to it, that I just lost it. And you said that you laughed just as hard this time as you did the first time.
Yeah, because I only watched it twice.
We'll get to that part here very soon, but...
I did not see this one in theaters, but I think we rented it as soon as it came out. Wherever it was at, maybe on a Red Box or something, I rented it,
So all right, we're moving forward. Dude, obviously, his keys got thrown in the sewer. He climbs through his house window.
And as his brother says, well, you don't use the front door?
Yeah, and instead of oh, you're out of jail, it's more of oh, what do you want? Instant teenage angst, instant brother fighting.
Oh, it's you?
It was so annoying. It's for real.
Why are you here? Well, I've heard that the sheriff says you've been spending some time in his back seat a lot more than me. What's going on there? The dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue was
I try not to rip movies apart too much, but I don't know who the hell wrote the dialogue. I mean, I could look it up. But but who they say writer of the movie's this guy, and you know, but I feel like a lot of people have input, so it's hard for me to just point the finger on one person. But all the people that were involved in the writing of this show, what the hell?
All right, well, other than the one that played Colonel Sanders or whatever, Colonel Stevens, Robert Joy. Did you know any of these actors? I went through the list. I don't recall ever seeing any of these actors.
I've seen Ricky somewhere else, maybe after this movie.
You had mentioned that. Like even the girl looked really familiar. The one that played
the one that plays the military lady. I'd seen her in some TV shows.
Well, see, the one that played Jessie looked really familiar, and I looked.
I mean, the Tara Reid lady. She's Tara Reid, but she's not Tara Reid.
Yes.
She's Tara Reid without cocaine.
For some reason, I was thinking like that was a Blue State of Mind or whatever it was called, or
Blue Mountain State.
Blue Mountain State, yeah.
With Reacher.
But that wasn't, yeah.
The show of Reacher.
Yeah, but that wasn't her either. Like,
no, you know, she looks just like Tara Reid.
That could be what it was.
Not drugged out in a way. I mean, Tara Reid's got her life back together. She's doing great. But there was a time where Tara Reid was like on that path.
But this was a movie that, from my point of view, had pretty much nobody in it.
No, this is a nobody cast.
Like all the acting was.
It was like these were like the people that couldn't get the
run that
CW
direction and
audition.
scream. Okay, you did good. But then if you have to actually give a line, it's like let's do that a couple more times till you actually know your line. I'm sorry. I understand acting is hard, but watching this was hard.
Well, it didn't help the dialogue that they were fed. Like, you got to say these lines. Yeah. It was like somebody was trying to be the Dawson's Creek writer, Kevin Williamson, that did the Scream movies, and they were not that person. This was like, I'm telling you, these were like, some of these kids, I think, probably auditioned to be on CW shows, and even those guys were like, yeah.
Get some more experience, kid.
No. I'm not sure a lot of these people even did after this. I had very little interest.
The only one, again, other than the Colonel and what's-her-face, Jessie, that looks familiar, was the sheriff. But I even looked, and I didn't recognize anything he was in.
He probably played on a Law and Order episode somewhere or something. I don't know.
Law and Order SVU.
He was on, I don't know, one of those CW shows that has like 1,000 episodes. Maybe he was on an episode of Supernatural that I forgot. I don't know.
A random demon that got killed.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
So there's the cast that we don't really care about, the plot that we don't really care about. Well, I guess let's see. We go trivia back behind the scenes. Anything?
Well, just real quick. If you haven't watched it, the Predalien, which again is a horrible name for the Predator Alien hybrid.
I thought it was.
It was just an alien with the Predator mandibles, but it was for some reason so much smarter all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, it mixes DNA, and predators are pretty smart.
Okay, but so as a newborn, a predator knows how to like cook eggs? Because this thing was like practically a newborn.
Well, it depends if you want them scrambled or sunny side up.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're in Pennsylvania. Let me rephrase this. Dippy eggs? Oh, it's because you dip. Like,
look, I eat scrambled eggs. Other than that, I don't really like eggs that much. I guess my big question, though, was this a good choice? Mixing these two into a single entity?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because it's a dream. Like, it's something you can imagine in your head. You know, I always thought, you know, if the alien, like, what if the alien mixed with something else? Because, you know, I like the movies like The Thing and The Blob and all these other stuff with molecular issues and DNA entanglements. And
do you know what this reminded me of? Jurassic World. Where the Indominus Rex, because it has raptor DNA, it can suddenly control the raptors or tell them what to do. Because it's half and half, it can suddenly control all the xenomorphs.
I think you're going into the point of why the regular alien xenomorphs
Why didn't they attack it?
Yeah, that point is another inconsistency that's just ridiculous.
Even Ripley's kid knocked the birth mother's face off.
You're not my mama.
Not the mama. Not the mama. Knock your block off.
There we go. Let's see that fight the Predalien.
Ripley's kid versus the Predalien? Ripley's kid was pretty tough.
It was.
It's some really long hands. I don't know. Maybe the Predalien was pretty. I don't know. These.
What about the fact that it could reproduce without facehuggers?
Let's talk about its reproduction.
But that ticked me off because, like I said, what is an alien movie without facehuggers? And they played the smallest part in this for like 5 people, homeless and the hunter and the kid. And then it was all about.
Well, those are facehuggers that came out the tubes that were specimens.
Well, so because the Predalien couldn't lay its own eggs, they had to reproduce somehow.
Maybe this has to do with something we haven't learned yet about the Yautja reproductive systems, even though there is male and female.
Okay, look, if you don't know what I'm
I read
talking
something
about,
somewhere slick saying that it was quicker to have it just take over the embryos inside. Like it was supposed to be a truncated time thing.
okay, so instead of a face hugger dropping its junk into you and creating a little popper that's going to rip out of your chest, this thing used its second mouth that came shooting out of its face to deep throat you and spew babies into your body.
I think the word pump needs to be used here because it was pumping. This is the most sexual episode we're ever going to do. It was pumping its load of baby.
3 or 4 of them would burst out at a time. So it was literally just, hey, we need to get an army of these things.
Yeah, it's the different DNA. This is what happens when you mix the two together.
Okay.
It was pretty messed up. These pregnant chicks, like it's some pregnant ladies. Now, it isn't one of the most disturbing and kind of disgusting, but in a way, it brought in the true horror element that this franchise.
Number one criticism: maternity ward scene. Wow, no, is what I have written down.
It was vicious, and I'm not saying like I'm rooting for the Predalien.
This thing, okay, first off, what maternity ward has like 5 pregnant women about to give birth laying in a row in one room?
The same one that has every other hospital that doesn't have lights on.
It was
How
a
many
power
movies or
outage.
TV shows you watch where the hospitals other
Oh,
than
you mean
Grey's
the
Anatomy?
generator only? All the generator did was make the lights in the hall flicker.
Ridiculous.
No, I'm telling you right now, my wife's a nurse. If the power goes out, those generators power that whole hospital.
You know what I'm saying is like I've seen a crap ton of horror movies, and every hospital they're in, there's like a flickering light. Nobody's ever around, and it's always dark. I've been to the hospital here in town, and the lights are always on, no matter what time of day it is. They're like, oh, well, we don't really have anybody in that wing, so let's just shut down the power.
But that's what I mean. Like, this thing jumps on top of a pregnant, about to give birth woman, pumps its babies down her throat, and the baby that's about to give birth turns into a xenomorph or is eaten by the xenomorphs. I don't know.
It's eaten in a way by them.
I'm really glad though that we didn't see the Predalien
about an infant, like one bursting out of an infant, but I didn't see that anywhere.
The Predalien stands outside the baby nursery, and it might as well have been licking its lips.
Yes.
Oh man! And then yeah, it
messed up.
It pumps these babies into her, and then it like pans over, and there's like 4 more pregnant women laying there, like, oh no, leave.
Yeah.
No, they just lay there and wait their turn.
I don't agree that I'm like, oh yeah, give me some pregnant ladies getting face banged. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when I watch a horror movie, I want to be disturbed, and it did its job. It disturbs you because it's fucked up.
It was disturbing.
It's messed up.
Man, it was wrong.
It is wrong.
But and on that note, I also felt that the Predalien was too smart. I know you just said it was like a DNA thing, but like instead of just killing things, it looked at them as perfect.
Well, I get what you're saying in a way because
like it killed the nurse, it killed the doctor, but it put babies in these people.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you here.
It made it too smart. And my biggest criticism of this entire stinking movie: turn the freaking lights on. I had my TV brightness turned so far up, and I still couldn't see anything.
Well, it hid some of the bad CGI.
It was like someone didn't pay the electric bill, and they're like, "Well, it's okay, we can make this work."
Well, they can't turn the lights on because they messed up the power plant.
Oh, shut up!
And they're in their jungle fight, and they're jumping from like thing to. Well, there's this thing where the predator gets knocked down, and like, they're gonna get him, and they just run away.
Yeah, because they couldn't see him; it was too dark. Yeah, please talk about that power plant scene. How horrible was that?
It was just ridiculous. They needed a plot point to take the power out in the town.
Well, okay, first off,
of course, it's got to start raining. Why not?
Well, and first off, okay, there's a predator running, or a xenomorph running around the power plant, which is a nuclear power plant, apparently. And you see the predator, aiming at him with the shoulder cannon from like a mile away.
He's horrible at it.
He doesn't hit a single thing except when he's in the sewer.
He blows up the sewer. He's like so inept. Like, what are you doing? You're the worst predator cleanup guy ever.
The only thing that Wolf did right was put up those little things in the sewer that pumped out lasers.
Those were pretty cool.
That whenever he would blast a xenomorph and it would fall backwards, they would get cut to pieces.
That was pretty cool.
100% Resident Evil.
Yeah. Even though Anderson did not do this movie.
I don't care. They had, oh man. All right. So enough tearing this movie apart for now. I will definitely get back to it.
We're going to get back to it for sure.
What do you have as far, or do you have anything like trivia based or just like fun
Just
facts?
A couple tidbits.
Okay, let's hear them.
The first one is apparently on set. There was an alien dummy that was stolen, and the police had to get involved. The person was selling it on eBay. And they caught the person. But yeah, they're like, "Hey, I'm going to steal this alien prop
And put it on the most public website ever. Great.
Even back then, I mean, eBay was pretty
Yeah,
popular.
that'd be like stealing a car and putting it on Facebook Marketplace.
This is the first movie to display the Predator homeworld. I don't know where I read.
Who
something
killed
like
the
that.
two high guys? Oh, that was the Predator because they were shooting at him in the gun shop.
Oh yeah. Well, the one dude was just standing there. One dude got killed for fucking standing there. He was in the way.
And the jock douche,
Yeah.
he got
Melty faced.
Yeah, how did that even happen? I want to say I don't think he had a gun though. He shoot it somehow. Somehow, yeah, it got acid on his face and it like literally melted his head.
Yeah, that's all I have for behind the scenes / trivia. It was running kind of thin. I'm curious.
Like the script for this movie.
Very thin. I wonder if anybody like made a documentary of like the making of Predator Requiem versus Aliens. Wait a minute, no, let's fix the title here. You know,
Well, we know it's not called Movies That Made Us.
no,
Netflix.
made us angry. I mean, there's a lot of gore and
Dude.
gooey nastiness.
The gore in this
but
movie
that's it.
was so far above the norm that it wasn't even gory anymore. It was just funny.
I feel like this had like
Okay, when they go into the locker room where the kid got attacked by a predator, or I mean an alien, after the other kid got killed in the pool by an alien.
yeah, the swimming predators that showed up for
Yeah.
Resurrection.
When they go back in the locker room later, there's literally blood like sprayed up on the walls all over.
That was that was auctioned off. No. on eBay. You know, that somebody had mentioned that there was the blood didn't match the death.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Unless that predator somehow, alien somehow like caused the body to explode.
These franchises are so intertwined
they-
at this point. We can't even say
Then even
we're recalling these things if it's a predator or an alien.
even at rated R, they never found the bodies. So did the xenomorph eat the body?
I guess if they're not gonna face hug them, they might as well get protein. I suppose. Do humans have a lot of protein?
Okay, but on that note, I understand why they didn't find the xenomorph body or the other kid's body because the swimming pool. What was with that blue goo? Seriously.
The disintegration goo, the blue goo, not to be like the blue chews that some people get to spice up their lives. It was a cool, I think, addition as you're just gonna sprinkle a little of this and it's just gonna make
Well,
everything
so
go away.
I
But,
assume
like goes to the sweet, like he's dumping so much of this goo, and like this vial is like the beer that Thor gets from Doctor Strange. It just keeps refilling.
Yep. The way I understood it was on the ship, like he synthesized it based on the facehugger DNA and stuff, and it was. I thought it would like only work on things that were affected by that DNA, but then he pours it in the swimming pool, and the whole pool turns into a boiling pot till it's empty.
I thought when he messed with the DNA and then injected it into his gauntlet, it was so he could track the xenomorphs better.
Maybe. All right, that would make more
Right.
sense.
The goo, I think, is just something they buy at their local store
Oh, okay.
on Yautja land, Ryusha
So it's
River.
Yautja Ajax. Got it.
Yes, Yautja Ajax. Not that Mr. Clean shit.
Yautjax.
Yautjax. Man, I don't even know where to go on these things.
The worst part is we're not even going like the proper chronological order of the movie because it's just you think of it and you say it. There's so much to bounce around.
Well, okay, well, after a power plant, there's a traffic jam
Yeah,
because as soon as the power goes out, instantly you have traffic jams.
the power.
Especially- and when it's raining, it doesn't help
Did the
either.
power go out before or after the swimming pool? Where she, pretty
After.
much lured him to get beat
I
up,
think it's after.
and then they all fall into the swimming pool, and she's still yelling at them, "Stop it!" At one point, it looked like they were just playing in the pool.
Marco.
Because then they're like, "Oh my god, something jumped in," and they all just stop, like, "Oh no."
What is that?
Look, I've been roughhoused.
dog?
I've goofed off in a pool before. You wouldn't have heard that. You wouldn't have heard her saying something's in the pool. You never.
Less splashing.
And okay,
The
we
echoes
know,
in a gym pool are very, very loud.
and we know from Resurrection, those suckers can swim fast. It took it like 5 minutes to get across the pool. It is not an Olympic-sized pool.
No, the pool in my one middle school was bigger. than that one.
And when did it come in?
Well, it just kind of creeped through the door in
That-
the bottom. It just creeped through the. I don't know because it no. Again, like what? It doesn't make sense.
Xenodog.
Maybe. And then, then we get everybody to the gun shop. So everybody gets out of the pool. Everybody's
Jeez.
running. They all meet up at the heart or the, I don't know, what do you call this? An outdoorsman's
Yeah.
shop that is just cluttered to hell.
It was a poor man's Cabela's.
And yeah, very poor, man, like a Timu Cabela's. and the people that own it or are that are running it at the moment are in the back getting high. They don't hear anything going on at all. And this is after the Predator blew up the sewer and messed up the power plant.
Oh, it blew up the sewer way before the power plant.
Okay, yeah, it did. Yeah, you're right.
And then it blew up the power plant. Powers that. Oh, the one xenomorph jumps through the window and takes the kid's dad, the army lady's husband. Like, just there's no monsters outside your.
Right? Yeah, well,
This
so
is
we
way
gotta get
down the
everybody
line.
together. So we get them together here, and the sheriff is in charge, but really, he's not.
And nobody else is in there.
Leather Jacket's in charge.
But nobody else is in there. It's right next to a highway that has like an 8-mile long traffic jam, people getting out of town. But nobody's in there.
Right.
But nobody's in their cars.
But then the one lady at the diner was still like, all this is going on, like a little bit before
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
She's like, oh, I still got to clean up and, you know.
Well, and then the other lady's like, I gotta go pick up my friend from the diner. Even though all hell is breaking loose, I should go pick her up. What?
I don't know who proofread this script, but somebody greenlit it. That's for sure.
And then she survives. Oh, up for a while.
Yeah, for a minute.
Well,
Well, I
it's
was
funny.
surprised that some of these people lasted as long as they
Well,
did.
it was funny. The ones that lasted till the end, that the writers are like, oh, crap, what do we do with them? We'll send them to the middle of town. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. The gun shop, people are
Yes, they're
getting
in the
high
gun shop. Well, even there, that's when they start arguing about where they should go.
while stealing guns, packing them full of ammo. The convicted felon who just got out of prison is calling the shots, handing out
Yeah,
weapons.
he's in charge. Leather Jacket's, and that's his name. He's Leather Jacket. And Leather Jacket, the Fonz. Hey! And the sheriff's like, I don't really think that's what we should do. He's like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I was half expecting the 6-year-old girl to be walking around with an Uzi. That would have been a good movie.
The predators and aliens jump into the hunting shop and blood and gore and
Well, now what got there first? The Predator did, because it wanted its gun back.
I don't even remember how
No.
he got the gun. How does he get the predator?
No, he
Predator
gets
gun.
the gun in the hunting shop. It gets knocked off his shoulder or something like that by the xenomorph.
I don't know,
He
he was
just he ends up with the gun,
It
and
wasn't his shoulder cannon though. It was something else, wasn't it?
it was a shoulder cannon. But the thing was, like, it's not your normal remote controlled shoulder cannon.
No, this is like
Apparently,
a shotgun.
it
shoulder
had like
cannon?
a trigger.
Yeah, he's like, but he's like, woo, tsh.
Oh
I don't
man,
know, it was like from Demolition Man or something.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
he like figures out how to use it pretty quickly. Well, and then somehow they all get to the hospital. I don't understand why they went to the hospital. With
Okay, I can tell you this one.
You can, okay.
Because the woman who shouldn't have survived from the diner said, "Oh, I know this one. There's only 2 helicopters in town to get out. One is at, I think it was the
Okay.
the news station or something like that, and one's at the hospital."
Hospital must have been closer.
Well, they debated on which one to go to, and they said that the news station's probably gone. The hospital's our better choice, even though it's actually a really bad choice because, as you know from a small town, they don't stay here. They drop people off here and leave.
But I mean, well,
So they-
listen, they had a nuclear power plant. Obviously, they had their own chopper. Then they had a news station that had their own chopper as well. And Gunnison, Colorado, was apparently 5 times the size of the town we're in now.
Yeah, it's like this small,
But
back,
had
this
one
small
small
back
town sheriff.
Colorado Rhodes town that has a population of like
And
800,000.
everybody knows the sheriff's name. Well, who's the sheriff here in this town? Do you know his name? I don't.
And this our town?
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea.
No. Like, is it a man, woman, black, white? I have no idea, not a clue.
I don't even
I
know.
don't even know the name of the mayor. I think
don't-
it's a lady. Not sure.
I don't know if we have one.
We do. She's in the borough office where you get trash bag stickers.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
Like,
We have-
so what's up with these trash bags? What's up with the aliens? Shoulder cannons. Why?
Oh, jeez.
Jerry Seinfeld, if you're listening, I'm sorry that was
Is
horrible.
that our celebrity shout out of the week?
Find out he's like a super fan of the series. So yeah, they get to the hospital, and one of
Well,
the
no,
best
first,
scenes.
First, they steal the tank, or whatever it's called.
the
That army girl's like, I can drive it.
het matter.
And Leather Jacket's, are you sure? I can drive it.
Okay, well,
And what's he say?
as long as you're sure.
Don't wreck.
I'm pretty sure, does she hit a car too to get out? Or
Oh,
move
yeah.
around?
Yeah. And then they get to a pickup truck of people driving to the center of town for this
That
evac.
apparently came from Halloween 4. It's the same pickup truck full of people from Halloween 4.
Our main characters are in a tank, but there's a pickup truck bed full of people that are not getting eaten. Who's the better hunters right now? Who's the better survivalists?
Well, Jethro says this: you come mess with me, you gonna find out. You mess with the bow, you gonna get the horn, boy. That's the way I learn around here.
So basically, our main story party splits, which if you're a D&D fan, you never split the party.
No.
Half goes in the center of town to get this evac that's coming. The other half says let's go to the hospital and just get ourselves out of Dodge.
Yeah, the
And hey,
sheriff,
Of
good old
course,
sheriff, goes to the middle of town.
and of course, the hospital is a overrun feeding ground for xenomorphs.
And it looks
pregnant women.
nasty. It's like black webbing everywhere, like venom was in there or something. And it's,
And more pregnant women than
the maternity ward is not looking good. No, it's pretty nasty. But then at one point they're going down a hallway and like Jessie, the blonde girl,
my gosh.
Tara Reid decides she's not gonna go or is late or something, and she
she's late.
she walks by a doorway and out of nowhere the predator weapon goes, his like ninja star just takes her, slams her right into the wall. She's dead. And I could not stop laughing. Jessie!
Well, she like okay, so the Predalien and the Predator are fighting. She freaks out and takes running off down the hall towards the fight. He pulls out this
Ninja star. It's
ninja star that doesn't look that
Predator
big.
star.
It looks like a compact disc size with blades sticking out of it. Throws it, and when it hits her, it's the size of like a record.
Yeah.
Cuts her clean in half. Like it cuts her in half, but the top half of her is still on it. Just
Yeah, she's like up against the wall. And little Ricky's like, no, Tara Reid, you're my dream. And Leatherjacket's like, no, dude, come on, we gotta go.
you know what that reminded me of Back to the Future when Marty runs out, no, you bastards.
Oh.
And he starts shooting the Predator. The Predator's like, well,
Yeah, because he's been using this like laser shotgun blaster like nobody's business. Is like he's been training every day in prison for this. Like he knew he was destined for this.
And then what happens right before Ricky? Well, he gets stabbed, the brother, by the xenomorph tail.
Yes.
And then the xenomorph and the Predalien, or the Predalien and the Predator fall down an elevator shaft. What?
Wait, that just reminds me of Joey Tribbiani going, wait a minute, I get to go down this. What? No, what? That's how I die. No.
I just, what? Like, oh,
That's because the
man.
Predator was ad-libbing too much of his lines and the writers didn't like it. See if he wants to ad-lib these lines. Makes up his own stuff.
But it's okay. He's alive because he's the main character's brother.
Yeah.
Even though it's the love of his life that, he got hardcore blue-balled with at the swimming pool while getting set up.
She strung him in to get his ass whooped in a pool.
Just got cut in half out of absolutely nowhere.
Poor Tara Reid, you'll be missed. So yeah, they get towards the rooftop, and now the gun's not working so well. It's running out of juice.
Yeah, now suddenly it has to recharge.
Yeah. So the two combatants show up at the top of the roof, and the Predator's like, "Hold up, homie. We've been going at this a minute. You chill. You hold on. I'm gonna take my mask off. We're gonna do this mano a mano."
Yeah, they did. They stood there like looking at each other like, all right,
And then they do their whole,
gloves are coming off.
put your arms up, like I'm tough. I'm a silverback, and they just start like shoulder charging each other, like they're two linebackers at practice, like who can really knock the other off their feet. And this dude's way bigger than the Predator. Like the Predalien's pretty big.
Yeah, and then you have Leatherjacket leaning against like an air conditioning duct,
And
and a xenomorph's right above him looking down. And instead of killing him right away like they would, it's just like, I'm gonna wait.
Wait for you to recharge that gun real quick.
So he blows his head off, and you just see like everything go flying everywhere. How does he not get burned?
No acid.
No acid.
Because the dude in the sportsman shop
Dale.
Good old Dale. Dale looking good now. He got his face all burned
I
up.
forget how it happened, but yeah, Dale. Oh, I think it was something with the Predator's, one of his knives, like, cut the face off with the one xenomorph.
And it splashed.
And it, like, sprays blood out on Dale's face.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit!
And you watch as, like,
It turned into Two-Face.
Ark of the Covenant, his face melts.
Yeah. It sounds like we love
movie
this
is a
movie.
comedy.
but
It's so bad.
It's not as good as we're
So I
making
was-
it to sound, folks. It's not.
So I was watching this one night. My wife fell asleep, so I went to the living room. I'm watching it. She comes out at, like, 1 in the morning, and she's like, "Are you not coming to bed?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she stood there. I'm like, "Well, I'm going to finish the movie now." And she looks over, and I'm like, "Do you want to watch it with me?" And right then, Tara Reid gets cut in half. She's like, "Nope." And she goes to bed.
I'm out.
She's like, "I'll have nightmares."
Write that down.
I'm like, "You might laugh. I don't know." I think we're going to get sued now for defamation of Tara Reid.
No, Tara Reid has done. She's been in some cool things, and
True.
she's a fine. I'm just saying, this woman looks like a clone. In a way, I don't know. Just like she's a bit Tara Reid.
Everyone gets to the chopper.
You do the chopper.
They don't say it. I'm a little disappointed.
I could have sworn Letter Jacket told them to get to the chopper.
Oh, did he?
He's like, "Go to the chopper." He's like the libbity bibbity guy. They have out now. Leeboo eeboo. It's an eeboo.
He's
That was probably loud. I apologize.
it's like the Keanu Reeves of that universe, where he's like, everything must be said slowly and deliberate.
I know how to use an alien gun.
So they get there, they get the chopper going. Shit, we gotta leave. He's like, "We're not leaving without Leather Jacket." And it's like there's
Go take his jacket then.
there's a xenomorph running at you right now. It's about to get, so you unload a pistol at it when you just watched a tank like run it over and not do anything.
Yeah, I do remember she was hitting xenomorphs with the tank car, the head mat, right? She was cracking them. Okay, I do remember that.
But this thing's running right at the helicopter. All of a sudden, it gets blown away by the cannon. You know that guy over there with the dreadlocks? He could use his gun back.
Yeah, why don't you give it to the guy that knows what he's doing with it?
And then they finally get in. They get in. They take off and they leave. It's like,
And then a little
That's it?
plane goes by
oh
'em.
man, yeah.
The sheriff's at this point. The sheriff's in the middle of town. I mean, there's so much rain. Just so much. I don't know. It has to be dark. It has to be rainy. It's the end of the times. And he sees the plane coming and he knows he made the wrong decision. He split up from his party.
That's
and,
not Airvac.
No.
That's a TPK. Total party kill. They nuke the town of Gunnison.
Yeah. So they nuke the town with a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, I know. They nuke the town, and right as they're nuking it, Predator shoves his Wolverine knives up through the Pred alien's head, and in his last desperate act, he shoves his tail up through his chest, killing both of them. So they die in the proper Valentine's Day death in each other's embrace, looking into their eyes that the Pred alien doesn't have. And then my absolute favorite line in the whole movie is when they crash the helicopter because of the shockwave. And when they get out, he looks at the army lady. He's like, I told you not to crash.
Shut up, Ricky. You're not wearing a leather jacket.
And it's like the military comes out of nowhere. And they're like, you just nuked a town. We're just following orders, sir. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no nuclear fallout from the distance they're at or anything. No.
No, they're not more than like, what?
Yeah.
20 miles away, tops. I don't know. How fast does a helicopter go? A medical helicopter at that.
Right. Yeah. I'm not an aeronautical guy, but
they weren't more than like 5 miles from the center of town when that nuke went off. Okay, I don't care how fast helicopter is. They would have been
baby
caught.
Nuke. They're done. They're done.
Yeah, it was the Moab, the mother of all bombs.
The SARS bomba.
And then they let him live. I thought for sure the military's gonna be like, sorry.
Later on, you watch The Predator, and I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it have been cool if that would have been the team of the main character from that movie? It would just made like sense.
If like the main character from The Predator was on the team that came into this town.
That stops when the hell at the very end. They come out of the bushes out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
it would have been cool if that would have
that would have been
Kenna or something. His name was
sure.
Yeah, Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah,
his character.
See, that would have actually made the movie almost fit.
But that wasn't them. So there you go.
Well, and then they end the movie with them taking all this alien gear because, he kept the alien gun that, again, probably would have helped. I am so backwards today. He kept the Predator's gun that would have helped him win against the Predalien, and they take it to not Wayland, but Utani.
Utani, yeah.
Setting up the third movie that we will never get. God bless you.
Francois Yip as Miss Utani, the CEO of the Utani Corporation. Of course, that doesn't matter, does it, Miss Utani? No, it doesn't.
It's not for this world.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
It's not, whatever. Oh, my word. So it may sound like we love this movie, but it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's one of the best movies to make fun of.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do.
It's one of those movies you watch with your friends just if you want to have a good time making fun of something, not actually watching a movie.
I don't know. Leather jacket.
You should put this on at your next Halloween party.
Oh, my Lord. So I put on In Search of Darkness, which is a documentary. There's 3 parts, and all of them are like 3 to 5 hours long.
Jeez.
They go through like the entire 80s decade, like 3 different times, hitting up different movies. And I put that on at one of our Halloween parties up on the big screen. And all I know is I look up at one point, and it's like it shows nudity. And I look up, and of course, I don't remember what horror movie it was, but it might have been like Slumber Party Massacre or something. But there's boobs just like everywhere.
Jeez.
Like,
And in the background, you see a xenomorph.
it's the true driller killer. Just using.
I told my wife I was going to get a xenomorph tattoo, and she's just like, no. Which, by the way, do you know if you type into like an AI, make me a tattoo based on a xenomorph, it'll make you like a full-blown tattoo?
The perchance that I use, there's a tattoo design. That's one of the drop-down types of art you can choose from one of the 30 things. Yeah.
So what was your absolute favorite part of this whole movie? Do you
Tara Reid's death.
Was it?
Tara Reid's death. Hands down. When Jesse got, out of nowhere, favorite. I'm glad we're going for our favorite scene first. What was your favorite scene?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I jump ahead?
No, that's fine. We can jump out of order. I mean, this movie jumped out of order.
Oh, man, this movie was awful.
I don't know who the editor was, but
my favorite scene. Oh, gee, it was probably the ending when he's like, "I told you not to crash," because it's just like, that's not what you would say in that situation, dude. But that's the only smart thing you've said this whole movie.
Okay, wait a minute. Who survived? Was it Ricky or Leather Jacket?
Both.
Did they both make it?
Leather Jacket survived, and
I kept thinking
Ricky,
Leather Jacket died
because he kept saying he's like, Ricky needs a medic. He needs a medic over here. It's like you just took a sharp alien tail through the front and out the back, but you're okay because you had Kevlar.
Leather Jacket Kevlar.
What?
Yeah. I don't think he had Leather Jacket on at this point, but yeah, he did put on the Kevlar. Yeah.
Yeah, they were the only 4 that survived.
I forgot that Leather Jacket.
And then her and her daughter.
I want Leather Jacket to be in a movie with Vin Diesel.
Well, we'd have to know the actor's name first because he's not been in anything.
He's not in the Liberty Bibbity commercials? That's not him? Must be his little brother.
So what did you think about the change in setting? Like, most alien movies are tight, confined spaces like we've talked about. Most Predator movies are more...
I was okay with it. If it would have been a straight-up alien movie, and I have some talking points for the future of the franchises here, I would have been a little bit weary. Had it been the setting was fine. It's just the way they set up this small town. They took every trope from these B horror movies and they just over-exaggerated everything and just made them even more dumb than normal.
Like, it honestly felt like a B-list movie.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like, it almost felt like Sharknado.
I thought I was watching like another, like The Blob. I don't know if you ever seen The Blob from...
The original?
The one from the 80s, which is a remake of the black and white one. There's one in the 80s from like 87, maybe 86, 87.
So.
It's actually pretty decently well done, but it's kind of like this small town where the one guy's in trouble, but he knows the sheriff and even a cook.
Oh,
there's even a scene in a diner. Like, I feel like they were really going after this Blob movie. I really reminiscent. Like, these two movies, very, very close to each other. But no, the setting was fun. It was different because it was still woods. And it was okay because Predators, those movies are in a bigger setting. If it had just been Alien, I don't know. What did you like about the movie?
I'm thinking.
You're thinking.
No, I definitely like that little one-liner. It definitely had some one-liners. I don't know. There's just, all I can think about is how much stuff I hated.
like I said, I like the Jesse part. The maternity ward, gross, but still, I thought it was a good addition.
It definitely fit the I want you to feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah.
I like the expansion that they tried to do to show a little bit more of the Predator with the blue goo and the homeworld. Like, hey, we're going to give you a little bit more of who they are.
A little.
Just this, we're not going to really explain it, but we're going to give you more.
Like, I imagine Wolf's real name was Chad. I don't know why.
Hey, where's Chad? Oh, he went back to Earth. I guess he's got to clean up something. Oh, that old bit again.
Why did they just send the ship that was right there, passing Saturn, to go back? And if they can just warp there in half a second, why did the ship have to pass Saturn?
Why they only send one dude? It's just like one, man.
Well, they didn't know what they were up against, to be fair.
They could see. So I do like the technology.
See until he put the other one's helmet on. He didn't get to see what was going on, though. The dead helmet.
Okay, I guess you're right. They did get that beep beep.
But they even showed him like picking. Okay, which helmet do I want to take off my wall for this adventure?
Yeah, he looked like he'd been a seasoned hunter.
He's supposed to be a veteran. Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot to like about this movie. What didn't you like?
This movie.
The part where I hit play.
The 2 hours of my life that are gone.
Man, I'm never so hard. I'm not usually hard on movies. I'm not,
No.
but
Okay, so honestly, if I would go back through and do a rewatch, I would rewatch this just because it's part of it. Now, I'm not gonna like sit down and be like, man, I really want to watch Requiem today.
no. If you're saying if like a buddy showed up, or or Danae's like, hey, so a nurse was talking about Requiem. Can we watch that? Like, yeah, there's this really cool hospital sequence that you're gonna enjoy.
God.
But you'd sit down and watch it with your cousin or whoever came over, you know.
Oh yeah.
Wanted
This is one of those movies I would probably skip when my kids are older.
yeah, I wouldn't want to show this to a kid.
But I will say, what did you think of the special effects in this one? I thought the special effects were actually, I mean, it was too
The
dark.
power plant effects were dumb.
It was too dark to see most of it. But for the most part, what we did get to see was decent because a lot of it was CGI. Most of it was practical costumes, but a lot of it was also CGI.
Feels like 50-50.
Yeah.
You just can't be most of this and most of that. Yeah, I think it was a good handoff for a little bit here and a little bit there.
My favorite part was the sewer scene with the lasers.
Okay.
That was probably my favorite part, right before they blow up the sewers.
The one homeless lady, she walks in, she's like, Larry, where are you?
Well, then she hears the chewing. She's like, did you start eating without me?
I think she... It's so ridiculous. You know, I do recommend, usually a lot of podcasts or reviews are like, do you recommend this movie to somebody? If you want to watch trash, and I watch a lot of horror movie trash, like I'm not saying it's a trauma movie trash. It's not like...
I recommend
Zombie class of Nukem High.
I recommend Zombievers over this movie, where nuclear waste turns beavers into
this
zombies.
This is better than Sharknado.
Well, yeah.
So,
well,
I mean, not miles ahead of it, but
I
it
want to
is
see Xenonado.
Predalien Xenonado. Stuff I didn't like. The acid blood again used. It was just kind of tossed to the wind. Whatever made it fit for plot.
But like I said, in the first Alien movie, the acid blood, it very immediately became a thing of, well, we can't really shoot this thing or it'll kill everybody because it'll burn through the ship. And everything else is just like, oh no, don't want to touch you.
Yeah, I think they just didn't have enough ingenuity when they're writing these things to come up with some better.
I think we should write the third movie.
Third AVP?
Yes. And we'll act it out on air.
Well, we're going to have to enlist our friends.
Oh, man. John, we need you.
John, put this leather jacket on. Oh.
Wait, who's getting cut in half?
That's this Halloween. I'm just gonna be leather jacket.
That's
Can you dress up? Yeah, I got this leather jacket.
Don't change
on.
anything. Just get a Goodwill leather jacket and just walk around going, "Hey."
I don't know what's more to really even say about this particular movie.
Man, so many people probably turned us off by now. Like, okay, we get it. You hate it.
But I mean, it's what are you gonna do?
Do you feel that this hurt the original films at all? Like, hurt your opinion of the franchises separately at all?
Twofold answer here. I don't think any sequel is going to ruin The Predator for me, and I don't think any sequel is going to ruin Alien or Aliens for me.
What if it was a prequel where they showed that the alien or the Predator that fights Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually Arnold Schwarzenegger from the future coming back to kill John Connor, but he goes too far and gets deformed and
he
ends up
gets
in the
face hugged.
jungle.
Yeah,
And he gets his face hugged.
I mean, if there was a big hoopla that said this is actually the truth, I'd
This
be
is
like,
canon?
well, I'm just done with all this. But
This is
no,
not my canon.
I think it would hurt. It hurts the franchise as a whole because I mean, people argue, "What's your look? Do you like the Friday the 13th or do you like the Nightmare on Elm Street?" And they argue back at which one overall has like the better consistent, or is it Halloween? So if you would say which is better, and you asked me this before, which is better, Alien or Predator? I say Predator because I think it has more solid movies in it. But if this one doesn't help out either of them.
No.
No.
If you're hearing this, what we should do is we're gonna like make little giveaways when we do short series like this. We'll advertise it during the first episode, and like this was a 3-episode series, and comments and all that fun jazz. We'll randomly pick a winner by the 3rd episode, and we'll mail it out to you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A good little
So
sweepstakes.
you could have gotten custom face hugger coaster. It's a wooden coaster with a face hugger burn in.
Well, I'm going to take pictures.
Yowcha.
I'm going to take pictures of these, and they're already been on the social media by the time you heard this. But
There
then
you
you'll
go.
know what I'm talking about if you pay attention
And
to social
there
media.
will always be a Tree of Geek one because advertising,
Yes.
ad revenue that we don't have. So, and if you'd like to sponsor us, I'll happily put your logo on a cup.
I appreciate your support, Doritos. Thank you. Pepsi Cola.
There's got to be a joke here somewhere about like slicing in half. Like,
Well, we remember that
advertising.
there was a soda called Slice or Pop if you're up there in the Michigan or Chicago
Slice.
states.
Slice.
Pop.
So good, Jesse loved it. But enough bashing this poor movie.
Future of this franchise. We've talked about it before, but
Individual or as a AVP franchise?
well, they haven't talked about anything future for Predator. But just to reiterate, if nobody heard the last episode, we do got a TV show and a movie coming.
Yes.
The movie's called Romulus, and as far as I understand it, it's going to take place
Between Alien 1 and 2.
Romulus, yes, set between Aliens 1 and 2, and it's being done by Fede Alvarez, who did some Evil Dead stuff, which was amazing, the Evil Dead remake. I read the other day that they are ignoring Prometheus and Covenant, which pisses me off.
I read they're ignoring it for the Sci-Fi or FX channel TV series, but I don't know if they're going to ignore it for the movie.
I thought they were ignoring it for both. I know for
I don't know.
sure
I
for
don't know.
the TV.
I know the
show.
TV series showrunner made a comment about how Prometheus does nothing for this, and he just wants to ignore it and do his own thing, which I mean, I personally think once you make it, you should keep it canon.
Well, because the Noah Hawley show, who is known for Fargo, which I got that final episode of season 5 to go. Great show. But he's doing the TV show that's supposed to be set roughly in 2094. They said 70-ish years from now.
Which is like 50 years before Ripley.
Probably. I don't have a master timeline here, but
It's
more than likely.
pre-Prometheus. We know that.
Yeah, and they're going to ignore. And it's weird is Noah said that he spoke to Ridley, and Ridley's, no, that's cool. Just go ahead and ignore him. Just go ahead. I'm not even worried about it. I'm assuming that's sort of how the conversation, because I mean, that's what they're doing. He said, I'm just not interested in that. I would rather have a 1,000-year-old species that has, through evolution, become like this perfect killing machine. So here's my worry about the TV show. A, they're ignoring things, which irritates me. And 2, though I do love Fargo, Fargo is a character-driven talk type show or dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue in these shows, and a lot of twists and turns about who did it. And they're awesome. But we're going to take a show set on Earth 90, 100 years from now. I have a feeling we're going to come into a Walking Dead situation where the focus isn't going to be the xenomorphs. It's going to be the corporate greed humans. And they've even said he wants to show the even more horrific side of corporate greed. This whole thing where don't worry about the monsters, worry about the humans. Then don't make it an alien show.
Right.
Just make it a show about corporate greed in the future. Don't say there's going to be xenomorphs in it and then never show me. I have a feeling it's just I'm never going to see them. It's going to
It'd be like the threats out there looming.
Yeah, like no, I think the Romulus movie is going to, between Alien 1 and Alien 2, Fede Alvarez can make some gory shit. Like some action, I think it's just going to be good. Whether the plot's great, I don't know, but I think for all intents and purposes, it's going to be visually stunning. So that's,
Maybe it's gonna follow other space explorers who come across a charred xenomorph body floating through space that just happened to come off of Sigourney Weaver's ship after it got blasted in the engine,
That is
but it's
quite
not
possible.
dead.
No, that's its evolution, that it can't, just die in the vacuum of space. It just goes into stasis.
Well, no, I mean, it got fried. I thought that was the point. It got, like, blasted in the engine, didn't it?
And one of them, maybe.
Pretty sure it was in the first one, Sigourney Weaver. It got blasted in the engine.
Maybe I was thinking of the one from Aliens. Didn't it just go out kick it out the door?
Aliens, they...
Get away from her, you bitch, kicked it out the door. That's the one I was
it
thinking
went
of,
out into
just
the
those.
airlock.
So you're talking about the first one they get?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking about the block of ice from the second one.
Or from Covenant, when they released the mining gear or whatever to plow it out the door. There's a lot of xenomorphs floating in space.
There is. There is. Kind of like when Star Trek Data's brother Lore just kind of floated around space forever until the Borg got him. Maybe the Borg are going to find the alien queen and we're going to get a Star Trek crossover. I mean, you guys know, we've talked about this before in the comics. They're crossed over with everybody. I'm more looking forward to the Romulus show, and hopefully soon we get some news about the next Predator.
The rumors I read were that they're going to do, it's basically like a Prey 2. It's going to follow, I don't know if it's going to follow the same, was it Naru or not, but I guess it's essentially going to be how they get the musket back, or the pistol, how the Predators get it back.
Right.
That's going to be one of
That's the
the
rumor
main
I've heard as
focal
well.
points.
I've also heard pirates at some point too, that they were going to
Black
jump to
Sails?
pirates. Dude, Black Sails with Predator would be woo. Black Sails was great.
What's his name?
Predator,
Tim Hopper, whatever.
oh, the dude by Hyperion. Yeah, Tom Hopper. That he's like 6'6", 6'5". That dude's huge, huge.
Maybe he'll play the Predator or Alien.
He could. I don't know.
Oh man,
be nice.
I would like to see the future of the franchise go in a more classic direction, and by that I mean, like, give me, instead of a spaceship or an exploration or a colony ship, like, give me something, a space station, like what was it? Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. Do you remember that on Disney Channel? It's like people living on a space station going around Earth, but put it wherever, like
Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
like you're not in stasis. People are living their daily lives.
So like Silo with a xenomorph that shows up.
Yes.
You dead?
Yes.
Well, that'd be crazy.
I think that would be very disturbing. And they can even play it off as people against people because, well, are you infected? Again, that would play on the gestation periods, but
Yeah, I just hope that whatever they do, if they are ignoring Covenant and Prometheus, and we're just going to stay there, they're not part of this, then I hope they're respectful of everything else. And they're not just say we're going to ignore everything else. I don't want a Halloween issue where you got 5 different freaking timelines going on.
oh yeah.
Like, the series not that long ago was pretty easy to follow. A, B, C, D, like, you know what's going on. So let's not over convolute it. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not make it go crazy. Don't start changing everything around and ignoring stuff just because, well, I wasn't a fan of that when I was a kid, so I think it should be this way now. I don't need that. Or do it in a deep voice. I don't care. Curly voice, deep voice, I don't care. I'm just saying, let's be respectful of the material. Let's not, like you had asked earlier, dilute the franchise or other movies by saying, well, yeah, that did happen in Alien, but we're going to negate everything about it. And what Sigourney Weaver or any of the characters in there did doesn't make any difference at all.
I think it'll
Or
frustrate.
like somehow erase Paul Reiser or give him like some sappy backstory or something. I don't need any of that.
See, what's going to frustrate me the most, though, is if they ignore Prometheus and Covenant going forward, they ignore Michael Fassbender's entire role. And I thought he was fantastic in those movies.
He's terrifying.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Like he's just a good actor, but I understand.
Wait, when does the series take place?
The series is
Pre-Alien.
90 years from now
So pre-Alien.
or 70 years from now. Yeah.
See, that'd be great if it was like it followed a group who came across Michael Fassbender after the events of Covenant.
But it's just the whole thing with the engineers. We're going to get rid of all that. And I know some people weren't a fan of that. I have trouble. I didn't really bring this up in that episode, but how did David 8 kill every single engineer? Whole entire planet.
So I did read a theory before that wasn't actually an engineer planet. It was just a similar race, just like us, that the engineers planted, and that he thought it was an engineer
even if he thought and he went there, how do you destroy the entire planet's worth? And if it is the engineers and they're that advanced, they're not all in one spot. They've got to have colonies and stuff everywhere. And so Jimmy left town. He left the Covenant planet.
He comes home to everybody dead.
He's going off on vacation to Risa, and he's trying to call back to Mommy. Mommy's not answering. Like, what's going on? Tells the authorities, hey, listen, there's a missing person. And all of a sudden, like, nobody can get a hold of this planet. All the engineers everywhere, nobody can get a hold of this planet. It's probably like home base or at least one of their major home worlds. And nobody comes to find out what the is going on?
That's true. I mean, they do have spaceships that can just hover. So obviously they leave and come back.
I don't know.
What happens when, the ship that went to the neighboring system to grab groceries comes back and everyone's dead?
Whoa. My daddy went to the store and he never came home.
I just don't want to see them completely erase those two movies because
I
they weren't amazing, but they were good too.
I think they were a good start of things, and it really sucks that we're not getting a missing. That's what I want for the future of the franchise. I want something to answer the gap between David 8 taking off and to Ripley, somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
I want how from David 8 to the space jockey. That's what I want. David 8 space jockey. Fill in that specific.
Well, we talked about this before too. There's a engineer ship crashed on like every planet out there. Which one did they find?
They don't have very good pilots.
No.
Must be teenagers flying those ones too.
But like, how did Ripley's crew, the one they find, how did it get there?
Yeah, that's what I want answered.
Yeah, because it shouldn't have facehuggers on it if he bred them all, unless someone does go back to the engineer's planet, finds everything in ruins, accidentally gets infected, goes back onto their ship.
See, this is a movie that needs to happen somehow. So we talked about rankings. We know, first off, let me ask you, I'm sure I know the answer. Is your favorite franchise of the two Alien?
Yes.
And why do you like Terminator better?
What?
Oh, okay. So
I've never seen anything past Terminator 2. I've seen 1 and 2.
well, you're not missing anything. Just ignore all the other ones like everybody else does.
In the miniseries. And
So I took the time, 13 movies. I ranked the entire franchises
on purpose?
together. Yeah, on purpose. And I was curious what you or how you would feel. I don't know if you did your rankings, but I can give you mine and you can guffaw at me if that's the right term. Or if you did do it, we can ping pong back and forth really briefly before we get off the air to wrap this up.
I didn't officially write them down. I'm doing that right now. Do you want to start top of the list or bottom?
Bottom. Go from the shitty one to the top one.
All right, go ahead and start.
My least favorite in the entire 3 series is Alien 3. Why you look at me like that? Alien 3. I just detest that movie. It's boring. You're like, why is Requiem not at the bottom? Because at least Requiem, something happens.
See, if I had to put the bottom, my bottom would be Requiem.
So you say 13 for you is Requiem, and 13 for me is Alien 3. 12 for me is Requiem.
See, 12 for me is Alien Resurrection.
Okay. 11, The Predator.
AVP.
Wow. 10, Alien Resurrection.
The Predator.
Okay. All right. Might be controversial here. Number 9, Predator 2.
I actually can agree with that one.
You put that at number 9 as well?
As I liked it, but at the same time, I voiced my opinions on before.
I'm the editor.
Yeah, it didn't hold my attention the way I wish it would.
We're missing a better cut of that movie somewhere.
You think?
Yeah. Number 8, Alien Covenant.
Ooh. Number 8, I would probably have to put, man, Alien 3.
Wow. Okay. All right. Number 7, AVP.
Wow. Number 7 for me would be Prometheus.
Number 6, Prometheus.
Wow, we're way off on these, aren't we?
Yes, way off.
The Predator.
You put The Predator at 6.
Or no, sorry. No, my bad. The Predator's further down. I meant Predators.
Predators.
Yeah. Okay,
I can kind of handle that one because I know where you lean a little bit heavier. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Number 5, Prey. You're looking at me like you just want to stab me with an alien queen tail right now.
A little bit. Man, number 5.
At this point, these are all good movies. So.
Yeah, for the most part. Probably Covenant.
Okay. Number 4, Predators.
Number 4, Predator. The first one.
All right. The show will continue and we will continue to be friends. It's okay. Number 3, Aliens.
Number 3, Aliens.
Ooh. Number 2, Alien.
Number 2, Prey.
Number 1, The Predator.
Alien. Who is right? Please comment below or write in at treeofgeek.com.
Or give us your own list, saying we're both cockamamie idiots, and you're going to change it.
I'm
You're
all right
like-
with that. Give us
Like,
your list.
what? Who doesn't think that Predator 2 is not
So
at the
to
fourth spot?
recap, mine is from the top down. Alien, so the original.
Yep.
Prey. Aliens, the second. Predator. And then Alien Covenant. Predators, which was when they go to the home world of the Predators, or the hunting ground. Prometheus. Alien 3. Predator 2. The Predator. And then AVP. Alien Resurrection, because it's garbage. And AVP Requiem.
And if you completely ignored that and want to hear the proper list, it's number 1 is Predator, 2 Alien, 3 Aliens, 4 Predators, 5 Prey, 6 Prometheus, 7 AVP, 8 Alien Covenant, 9 Predator 2, 10 Alien Resurrection, 11 The Predator, number 12 AVP Requiem, and 13 Alien 3. Sorry? 2? Alien 3. It's 3. Alien 3. The one with
Trace.
the one that doesn't have the dog getting impregnated and instead has an ox for some reason. It has a lot of lice, a lot of sea lice or something. I don't know. And they sleep a lot, and they're bald, and they're monks, and they're prisoners, and I don't know. Shit.
Oh, wow.
But it has the guy from Game of Thrones in it, so I mean that makes it better. Yeah, he died on the shitter.
Best scene of all of these movies. You had to pick one.
Well, it's definitely just the sequence of Arnold fighting the Predator in the original movie. The entire Predator movie is the best scene.
Alien 2, when the guy's mopping the floor, looking up the whole time.
Oh, that's Alien 3.
Or is it? Yeah, it is Alien 3. Oh, man.
Like, there was a dude mopping in Aliens? It's game over, man. It's game over.
Please, write in. Let us know your personal opinions on this.
Yeah, tell us which role was better for Bill Paxton, Aliens or Predator 2? Which sequel was better?
I wish they'd have brought him back somehow. I wish they would have.
Yeah, but they would have done some CGI face stuff, and they would have hired me to do the voice, and it wouldn't have been great. And
they'd bring in Paul Walker's brother. So.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this has drawn out long enough. This is.
Who thought that the episode we thought would be short is probably the longest of this trilogy?
Well, we just had fun ragging on it, I suppose. We
Man.
have anything on deck? What are we talking about?
We do. We absolutely do.
What's our next episode?
So coming up in 2 weeks, we will actually have a guest coming on with us. John, our buddy.
John Leather Jacket Snyder.
Our buddy John will be joining us. We will be going over our personal, I don't want to use the word, but lists of movies that came.
There's no particular order.
That is true. There's no order. It's just going to be a rant fest. But it's going to be video games that were turned into movies, or movies that were turned into video games or TV shows.
The ones we like the best, the ones we hate.
What worked, what didn't, and why.
There might be some surprises on some of our.
I feel like there's some
of the video games in the skeletons in our closets. I mean, why is it that we all agree that the original Mario movie was the best? I don't know, but we do. We all agree that John Leguizamo is.
We are going to be skipping that era when every single movie was turned into a video game.
Oh, I'm not skipping shit.
Unless it was absolute garbage or amazing.
Are we including the Adam Sandler one where the aliens make them play video games? Because I just not thought about that one.
Pixel?
Yeah. Does Pixel count?
Man. I don't know. I never saw it.
And there's video.
I purposely avoided it because all the reviews said it was horrible.
Well, it's not good.
It's
better than Requiem.
Okay.
And Alien 3. All right, let's get out of here. Hey, if you guys want to possibly contribute to this podcast, help us grow, maybe get us some acting lessons, some podcast lessons, go to the treeofgeek.com, go to the Help Us Grow tab, and you can listen to Josh to tell you how the rest of that works.
Oh, geez.
I was going off memory.
You can donate anywhere from, it's a $3 to $10 monthly donation. That'll help us out. It'll help us afford the new sound equipment that I just bought.
You got to pay that back. You can get it from Magic Rentals, did you?
No, jeez. It's like, hey, this is $300, but you're gonna pay $1,400 by the time you're done. No,
John was telling me that people would get PS5s and then they would just never pay the money back.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, treeofgeek.com, help us grow. You can drop some donation, help us out monthly, or you can do a one time. Help us get in to do some more episodes. We are planning some Patreon type content, but we just haven't made it because nobody likes us. So,
And if anybody has any idea for future episodes, let us know.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Need some ideas.
Absolutely. Like we said before, treeofgeek.com, contact us, send us your lists, send us your input, send us your episode ideas. If you're on YouTube, comment below. Please
All those
like
things.
and subscribe.
It helps us get on suggested lists like we somehow navigated to on YouTube.
Yeah, we'd love to see this channel grow, this podcast. Like we love doing this, and we hope you enjoy it. If you don't like us, well, you can leave.
And tell your friends that might like us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, oh man, I can't stand what they're always talking about. They're always talking about this or that. Well, then tell me what to talk about.
Yes, please tell us.
I want a Grey's Anatomy episode, and I'll bring Emily on, and we'll talk about it.
We were told we talked about superheroes too much in the beginning, and so we veered away. We should get back to that at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, we have Indiana Jones we got to go through. We got Lord of the Rings we got to go through.
Back to the Future.
We didn't do our trivia back and forth episode yet. So music, we got all types of stuff to do.
I'm telling you. So I really would like, if you want to hear this, let us know. I think we should do a podcast based on music from games and movies and whatnot that geeks love to listen to, as well as dive down the hole of like YouTube artists that do covers of, classic.
Bring John back on for that episode.
Like Jonathan Young, I said before, on YouTube. He does these amazing like Legend of Zelda or Skyrim like covers. It's just amazing.
So if you think that musical type thing is something you'd want to listen to, let us know.
Yeah, and we can hashtag them and
hashtag the shit out of it, man.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, later, guys. I will catch you in the tree fort in a couple weeks.
Thanks for hanging out, and take care.
Goodbye.
Where the f*** is the stop button?